The massive Talarian warship plummets from the sky, its hull screaming as it tears through Earth's atmosphere. Wayne Green, 32-year-old biologist at the remote Alaskan research station, watches in disbelief as the alien craft impacts the frozen tundra with a thunderous crash. Alarms blare throughout the station. Wayne's heart races. This is no drill. Team Alpha, gear up. We're investigating that crash site, Wayne orders, his voice steady despite the adrenaline surging through his veins. He leads his team out into the biting Alaskan wind, snow crunching beneath their boots as they approach the smoldering wreckage. The twisted metal of the alien ship groans and creaks as Wayne and his team carefully make their way inside. The acrid smell of burnt circuitry fills the air. Debris crunches underfoot. Wayne's flashlight beam cuts through the darkness, revealing bodies of alien crew members. All dead. Then, a weak movement catches his eye. "Over here!" Wayne calls out. His team rushes to his side as he kneels beside a lone survivor, a female Talarian. Her reptilian skin is pale, almost translucent. Her breathing is shallow and labored. She's critical, Wayne assesses, noting her dangerously low body temperature. We need to get her back to the station now. At the research facility's medbay, Wayne pores over the alien physiology data streaming across his screens. The Talarian's core temperature continues to drop, even lower than what should be normal for her cold-blooded species. Her temperature regulation system is damaged, Wayne realizes aloud. She needs a much higher body temperature to survive, closer to human levels. He glances at the limited medical equipment surrounding them. Our gear isn't enough. There's only one way to save her. Wayne takes a deep breath, knowing the risks of such close contact with an unknown alien species. But he can't let her die. "I'll do it," he declares. Direct body-to-body contact is the only way to raise her core temperature fast enough. Carefully, Wayne wraps his arms around the Talarian's cool, scaled body. He feels her shiver against him as he holds her close. Gradually, her skin begins to warm, its color shifting from pale gray to a deeper, healthier hue. The alien's eyes flutter open, locking onto Wayne's. "I am Iris," she whispers hoarsely. "You saved me." Wayne nods, maintaining his embrace to keep her temperature stable. "I'm Wayne. You're safe now. But I need to know, why are you here?" Iris hesitates, then speaks. "We were on a recon mission, scouting your planet for colonization." Her words send a chill down Wayne's spine. "Our empire is desperate for resources. We thought Earth would be easy to conquer." Wayne's mind reels at the implications. "Are there more of you coming?" Iris nods weakly. "A full invasion fleet. They see humans as primitive, easy targets." As if on cue, alarms blare throughout the station. A voice crackles over the intercom. "Global state of emergency declared. Multiple alien ships entering the solar system." Wayne's grip on Iris tightens involuntarily. He's acutely aware of her alien body pressed against his, her survival dependent on their intimate contact. Yet she represents an imminent threat to all of humanity. Wayne faces an impossible choice. Continue helping this enemy combatant, extracting vital intelligence that could save Earth, or let her die, losing their only source of inside information on the coming invasion. As Iris shivers in his arms, Wayne knows one thing for certain. The fate of humanity may rest on his actions, and this most unusual of connections with an alien invader. Wayne's mind raced as he held Iris close, her scaled body gradually warming against his. The weight of his decision pressed upon him, but he knew there was no turning back now. Humanity's fate might well depend on the information this alien invader could provide. "Iris," he said softly, "I need you to tell me everything you can about your people's plans. It's the only way we might be able to stop this invasion without further bloodshed." Iris's reptilian eyes locked onto his, a flicker of gratitude visible in their depths. "I will share what I know," she rasped, her voice growing stronger. "But first, I must explain something about Talarian physiology." As Iris spoke, Wayne listened intently, absorbing every detail about her species' unique biology. He learned that Talarians relied heavily on external heat sources to regulate their body temperature, a trait that had evolved on their frigid home world. This dependence on shared warmth had shaped their culture, particularly their mating rituals. "What we are doing now," Iris explained, her clawed hand resting on Wayne's chest, "it is not unlike the first stage of our courtship. The sharing of body heat is deeply significant to my people." Wayne felt a rush of heat to his face that had nothing to do with their physical proximity. Before he could respond, the lab door hissed open, revealing Dr. Marcus Stern's stern visage. "Green, what the hell do you think you're doing?" Stern demanded, his eyes widening at the sight of Wayne and Iris entwined. "We have no idea what kind of pathogens that creature might be carrying. You need to get away from it immediately." Wayne tightened his grip on Iris instinctively. "I can't do that, Dr. Stern. She'll die without my body heat. And she's our only source of information about the invasion." Stern's face reddened with anger. "That's an order, Green. Step away from the alien and let us put it in quarantine." "Her name is Iris," Wayne shot back, "and I won't let her die. She's cooperating with us, sharing vital intelligence. We need her alive." The tension in the room was palpable as other members of the research team gathered behind Stern, their expressions a mix of fear, curiosity, and concern. Some nodded in agreement with Wayne, while others cast wary glances at Iris. Before the argument could escalate further, alarms blared throughout the station once more. A voice crackled over the intercom. "Attention all personnel. Military forces are inbound. ETA 5 minutes. Prepare for lockdown procedures." Stern's face paled. "This is out of our hands now, Green. The military will take over from here." Wayne's mind raced. He knew that if the military got their hands on Iris, any chance of a peaceful resolution would be lost. In a split-second decision, he scooped Iris into his arms and bolted for the door, shouldering past the stunned Dr. Stern. "Wayne, what are you doing?" Iris gasped as they raced through the corridors. "Getting us to safety," he panted. "We need time to figure this out, and I don't trust the military to give us that chance." They reached the station's secure lab, just as the distant thrum of helicopter rotors became audible. Wayne quickly keyed in his access code and ushered Iris inside. The heavy door slid shut behind them with a reassuring thunk. Inside the lab, Wayne gently set Iris down on a workbench, keeping one arm around her to maintain their vital contact. With his free hand, he activated the lab's communication system. "This is Dr. Wayne Green of the Alaska Research Station," he began, his voice steady despite his racing heart. "I'm broadcasting on all frequencies to both the approaching Talarian fleet and Earth's governments. We have a chance to avoid war, but we need to act now." As Wayne spoke, outlining his plea for diplomacy, Iris leaned in close. "Wayne," she whispered, her breath warm against his ear, "there's something you need to know about why we're here." Wayne paused his broadcast, turning to face Iris. Her eyes were filled with a mix of fear and hope as she continued. "Our world is dying. We didn't come here out of aggression, but desperation. Earth is our last hope for survival." The implications of her words hit Wayne like a physical blow. He opened his mouth to respond, but was cut off by a loud banging on the lab door. "This is General Jonathan Hawk," a gruff voice called out. "Open this door immediately, or we'll breach it by force." Wayne's grip on Iris tightened protectively. "We need more time," he muttered, his mind racing to find a solution that could save both their species. Iris's cool, scaled hand found his. "Perhaps," she said softly, There's a way we can coexist. Your planet has such varied climates. Surely there is room for both our peoples." Wayne's eyes widened as an idea began to form. He turned back to the communication system, speaking rapidly as he outlined a bold proposal for Talarian settlements in Earth's coldest regions. Outside, the banging on the door intensified. The first Talarian ships breached the atmosphere, their massive forms visible through the lab's small window. Wayne and Iris stood together, bodies pressed close as three distinct forces converged on their position. In this moment of crisis, with the fate of two civilizations hanging in the balance, Wayne felt a surge of something beyond mere protective instinct for Iris. Their shared body heat, once a necessity for survival, now felt like a lifeline connecting their two species. As General Hawk's team prepared to breach the door and the Talarian ships drew ever closer, Wayne and Iris faced a coming storm together, united in their desperate hope for peace. The tense standoff was suddenly interrupted by a deafening roar from above. Wayne and Iris rushed to the window, their bodies still pressed close, to witness an awe-inspiring sight. Multiple Talarian ships pierced through Earth's atmosphere, their massive forms descending upon the Alaskan tundra like metallic meteors. "They're here," Iris whispered, her voice a mix of fear and longing. As the first vessel touched down near the facility, its colossal frame cast an ominous shadow over the landscape. The ground trembled beneath their feet, and Wayne instinctively tightened his hold on Iris. The lab security monitors flickered to life, displaying a crisp image of the Talarian ship's entrance as it opened with a hiss of pressurized air. From within emerged a tall, imposing figure, Commander Zax, leader of the Talarian invasion force. Wayne's eyes widened in surprise. Unlike Iris, Zax moved with ease in Earth's environment, showing no signs of distress from the cold. "How is that possible?" he muttered. Iris shook her head, equally baffled. "Advanced technology, perhaps, or biological modifications. Our scientists have been working on climate adaptations for years." Before Wayne could respond, he felt Iris shudder against him. Her skin, which had warmed to a healthy hue, was now fluctuating rapidly between colors. "Wayne," she gasped, her breathing labored. "Something's wrong." Panic surged through Wayne as he realized Iris's temperature was destabilizing again. The stress of the situation was wreaking havoc on her newly regulated physiology. He guided her to a nearby lab table, his mind racing. Skin contact isn't enough anymore, he realized aloud. Your body's reacting too strongly to the stress. Iris's eyes locked onto his, filled with a mix of fear and something else, a heat that had nothing to do with her physical condition. "There is another way," she said, her voice low and husky. "A more intense physical connection. It's part of our mating ritual, used in times of great physiological stress." Wayne's heart raced as he grasped her meaning. He knew it was dangerous, potentially disastrous, but he couldn't bear the thought of losing her. With a swift motion, he pulled Iris close, their bodies intertwining in a passionate embrace that went far beyond mere survival. As their connection deepened, Wayne was vaguely aware of the sounds of battle outside. General Hawk's team had breached the outer defenses of the lab, but just as they were about to break through the final door, they froze. Through the lab's transparent walls, the soldiers stared in shock at the scene before them. Wayne and Iris, human and Talarian, locked in an intimate embrace that defied all expectations. The sight caused confusion and hesitation among the troops, their weapons lowering unconsciously. Suddenly, a new voice crackled over the station's communication system. "This is Commander Zax of the Talarian Empire. I demand the immediate surrender of Earth and the return of Princess Iris, heir to the Talarian throne." Wayne pulled back slightly, staring at Iris in disbelief. "Princess?" Iris nodded, her eyes filled with regret. "I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I dash. Her words were cut off by another voice over the intercom. It was Dr. Stern, his tone sharp with desperation. Commander Zax, General Hawk, this is Dr. Marcus Stern. I propose a deal. We'll turn over Wayne Green and the alien princess in exchange for the safety of our research team. Wayne felt a surge of betrayal, but it was quickly overshadowed by a strange sensation coursing through his body. He looked down at his arms, noticing his skin had taken on an unusual texture, more resistant to the cold. Iris gasped, drawing his attention. Her scales were shifting, changing color and texture before his eyes. "Wayne," she breathed, "look at us. We're changing." As their bodies continued to transform, adapting to each other and to Earth's environment, Wayne's mind raced with the implications. This mutual change could be the key to coexistence, a biological bridge between their species. Outside, tensions were reaching a boiling point. Commander Zax's forces faced off against General Hawk's troops, weapons primed and ready. The fate of two worlds hung in the balance, with neither side willing to back down. Wayne met Iris's gaze, seeing his own drive reflected in her eyes. "We have to stop this," he said. "Our transformation, it could change everything." Iris nodded, her newly adapted skin glistening. "But how do we convince them?" Wayne took a deep breath, steeling himself for what came next. "We show them. We walk out there, together, as living proof that our species can adapt, can coexist." Hand in hand, their bodies forever changed by their encounter, Wayne and Iris prepared to face the combined forces of two worlds. As they approached the lab's exit, Wayne's mind whirled with questions. How would their respective sides react to their transformation? Could they truly bridge the gap between their species? And what would this change mean for their own futures? With a shared look of persistence, they stepped forward, ready to confront the unknown and fight for a future where humans and Talarians could stand together. Together. As the lab door slid open, Wayne and Iris stepped out hand in hand, their transformed bodies on full display. The scene before them was chaos. General Hawk's troops stood in tight formation, weapons trained on the towering Talarian forces. Commander Zax loomed at the forefront, his imposing figure radiating authority. The tension in the air was palpable, like a powder keg ready to ignite at the slightest spark. As Wayne and Iris emerged, a collective gasp rippled through both sides. Commander Zax's eyes widened in shock, his gaze fixed on Iris's altered form. "Princess," he breathed, his voice a mix of disbelief and concern. Without hesitation, Zax raised a clawed hand, signaling his troops. "Stand down," he ordered, his voice carrying across the tundra. General Hawk, however, remained unmoved. His eyes narrowed as he took in Wayne's changed appearance. "What the hell is going on here, Green?" he demanded, his fingers still resting on the trigger of his weapon. Wayne stepped forward, placing himself between the two forces. He could feel the cold wind whipping around him, but his newly transformed skin barely registered the chill. "General Hawk, Commander Zax," he addressed both leaders, his voice steady and clear. "What you're seeing is the key to our future, to both our species' survival." To demonstrate, Wayne reached out and grasped a nearby ice formation. The assembled soldiers gasped as his hand made contact with the freezing surface, showing no signs of discomfort. "My body has adapted," Wayne explained. "I can now withstand extreme cold without harm." Iris stepped forward, her scales shimmering with an iridescent quality that hadn't been present before. "And I," she added, her voice carrying a new strength, "can now tolerate Earth's warmer climate without difficulty." The silence that followed was deafening. Both human and Talarian forces stared in awe at the transformed couple. Dr. Stern, who had been watching from the sidelines, saw an opportunity to regain control of the situation. "General Hawk, Commander Zax," Stern called out, his voice cutting through the tension. I propose we call a temporary truce. We need to examine Dr. Green and Princess Iris immediately. This could be the breakthrough we've all been waiting for. Hawk and Zax exchanged wary glances, but the potential implications of Wayne and Iris's transformation were too significant to ignore. They nodded in agreement, and within minutes, a joint examination area was set up combining human and Talarian medical technology. As Wayne and Iris underwent a battery of tests, the atmosphere began to shift. Curiosity replaced hostility as human and Talarian medical teams worked side by side, their shared scientific interest bridging the gap between their species. "This is remarkable," Dr. Stern muttered, poring over a holographic display of Wayne's genetic structure. "The changes aren't superficial. They've altered your DNA at a fundamental level." A Talarian scientist nodded in agreement, her scaled fingers dancing over a similar display of Iris's genetics. "The same is true for the princess," she confirmed. "These adaptations, they could allow both of you to survive in a wide range of environments." As the implications of their findings sank in, Commander Zax stepped forward. His imposing frame seemed to shrink as he addressed the assembled group, his voice heavy with the weight of revelation. "I must confess," Zax began, his eyes meeting Wayne's. "Our invasion of Earth was not born of aggression, but desperation. Our homeworld, Talaria, is dying. Rapid climate change threatens to render it uninhabitable within a decade. We saw Earth as our last hope for survival." General Hawk's expression softened slightly at this admission. He glanced at Wayne and Iris, then back at Zax. "And now," he asked, his tone cautious but no longer hostile. "Now," Hawk continued, his military training giving way to pragmatism, "we have an opportunity. I propose a joint human-Talarian research initiative. We study what's happened to Dr. Green and Princess Iris, with the goal of adapting more Talarians to Earth's climate." As discussions between the leaders continued, Wayne and Iris found themselves at the center of a whirlwind of attention. Scientists bombarded them with questions. Political leaders sought their insights, and the media clamored for interviews. Amidst the chaos, Wayne felt a strange sensation. He turned to Iris, seeing his own confusion mirrored in her eyes. "Did you feel that?" he whispered. Iris nodded, her hand tightening around his. "It's like—" "I can sense what you're feeling," she replied, her voice filled with wonder. As they explored this new empathic connection, the world around them continued to change. News of their transformation spread rapidly, eliciting a range of reactions. Religious groups on Earth began staging protests, decrying the unnatural union between human and alien. Meanwhile, reports from the Talarian fleet spoke of traditionalists who viewed Iris's transformation as a betrayal of their species. Despite the growing controversy, plans moved forward for the establishment of a joint human-Talarian scientific base in Alaska. As Wayne and Iris settled into their new home, surrounded by a mix of human and Talarian scientists, they couldn't shake the feeling that their transformation was far from complete. One evening, as they stood watching the aurora borealis paint the sky in vibrant hues, Wayne felt a tingling sensation in his fingertips. He looked down to see small arcs of electricity dancing between his fingers. Iris gasped, her eyes wide with astonishment. "Wayne, look!" she exclaimed, holding out her own hand. A soft glow emanated from her palm, casting a warm light in the darkness. As they stared at their hands in amazement, Wayne and Iris realized that their journey was only beginning. New abilities were manifesting, hinting at further changes to come. The fate of two worlds now rested on their shoulders, their unique bond serving as a bridge between their species. In the distance, the lights of the research base flickered, a beacon of hope in the vast Alaskan wilderness. Inside, human and Talarian scientists worked tirelessly, united in their quest to unlock the secrets of Wayne and Iris's transformation. As the northern lights danced overhead, The unlikely couple stood hand in hand, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead in their quest for peaceful coexistence. Coexistence between their species. Little did they know that their transformation was far from complete, and the challenges ahead would test not only their bond, but the very fabric of human-Talarian relations. As the weeks passed, Wayne and Iris settled into a routine at the joint human-Talarian scientific base in Alaska. The facility buzzed with activity, a testament to the unprecedented collaboration between the two species. However, their unique physiological changes continued to evolve, keeping the research team on their toes. One crisp morning, Wayne awoke to find Iris staring at him with wide eyes. "Wayne," she whispered, her voice tinged with awe and confusion. "Look at your skin." He glanced down at his arms and gasped. His skin emitted a faint, ethereal glow, reminiscent of the bioluminescence found in deep-sea creatures. Iris's scales shimmered with a similar radiance, casting a soft light in the dim room. Within hours, the base was in an uproar. Dr. Elena Vasquez, the lead human xenobiologist, and Dr. Krell, her Talarian counterpart, immediately began a battery of tests on the couple. "Fascinating," Dr. Vasquez murmured, her eyes fixed on a holographic display of Wayne's cellular structure. "It appears your cells have developed the ability to generate and store energy in a completely novel way." Dr. Krell nodded, his scaled fingers dancing across a similar display of Iris's physiology. "It's as if their bodies have combined the best aspects of human mitochondria and our cold-resistant organelles. This explains their resistance to extreme temperatures." As Wayne and Iris underwent examination after examination, news of their latest transformation spread rapidly. Within days, the base received two high-profile visitors, Ambassador Perry from the United Earth Council and Viceroy Zorn of the Talarian High Command. The arrival of these officials brought a palpable tension to the base. Wayne could feel it as he and Iris were ushered into a meeting room, the eyes of both human and Talarian leaders fixed upon them. Ambassador Perry, a stern-faced woman with graying hair, spoke first. "Dr. Green, Princess Iris, I hope you understand the significance of your condition. The potential for humans to gain cold resistance could open up new frontiers for colonization." Viceroy Zorn, his imposing Talarian frame dwarfing the human ambassador, interjected. "And the possibility of adapting more Talarians to Earth-like conditions could solve our species' environmental crisis." As the days wore on, Wayne and Iris found themselves at the center of a political tug-of-war. Both governments pushed for more invasive tests and experiments, eager to replicate their transformation in others. One evening, exhausted from another day of tests, Wayne and Iris retreated to their quarters. As they sat on their bed, Wayne reached out and took Iris's hand. Suddenly, he felt a surge of emotions that weren't his own: frustration, fear, and a deep longing for peace. "Iris," he gasped, "I can feel what you're feeling. It's like I can see into your mind." Iris's eyes widened in recognition. "I can sense your thoughts too," she whispered. "Our empathic link, it's growing stronger." Their newfound ability to share thoughts and memories brought them closer than ever before. However, it also intensified the stress of their situation, as they could now viscerally feel each other's anxieties and fears. One night, overcome by the need for comfort and connection, Wayne and Iris came together in an intimate embrace. As their passion grew, their bioluminescent skin began to pulse and glow, creating a mesmerizing display of light visible through their quarters' windows. The next morning, they awoke to find the base abuzz with chatter about what was being called the Aurora Borealis incident. Some viewed it as a beautiful symbol of human-Talarian cooperation, while others saw it as a concerning sign of how far their transformation had progressed. Dr. Vasquez called them into her lab, her face grave. "We've detected unusual energy readings emanating from both of you," she explained. "Your DNA appears to be continuing to merge and evolve. We We think you might be becoming an entirely new hybrid species. The revelation sparked heated debates among the base's scientific and political leaders. Wayne and Iris found themselves more isolated than ever, their unique condition setting them apart from both humans and Talarians. As the pressure mounted, Wayne and Iris began experiencing strange, shared dreams. They saw alien landscapes, beautiful, otherworldly environments that seemed to blend features of Earth and Talaria. Each morning, they woke with an inexplicable urge to explore the uncharted Alaskan wilderness surrounding the base. One evening, as they stood at their window gazing at a distant mountain range, Iris turned to Wayne. "We need to go out there," she said, her voice filled with conviction. "Something's calling us." Wayne nodded, feeling the same pull. "We'll have to be careful. Base security won't let us leave easily." As they began to plan their clandestine expedition, neither of them noticed a new pattern pulsing across their luminescent skin. Nor were they aware of the energy sensors hidden deep within the Alaskan mountains, silently registering their presence. In the dead of night, Wayne and Iris prepared to embark on their secret journey. As they gathered supplies and warm clothing, they were oblivious to the fact that their adventure would uncover a secret that would forever alter the course of human-Talarian relations. The Alaskan wilderness awaited, holding mysteries beyond their wildest imagination, dreams that had been haunting them for weeks. As the first rays of dawn broke over the Alaskan wilderness, Wayne and Iris silently slipped out of their quarters. Their bioluminescent skin dimmed to a faint glow, barely visible in the early morning light. They moved with purpose, their steps sure despite the treacherous terrain. The couple made their way past the perimeter sensors, their unique physiology allowing them to bypass the security measures with ease. As they ventured deeper into the wilderness, the research base faded into the distance, swallowed by the vast expanse of snow and ice. Hours passed as Wayne and Iris trekked through the harsh landscape. The biting cold that would have incapacitated normal humans or Talarians seemed to have little effect on them. Their hybrid physiology allowed them to navigate the treacherous terrain with unexpected agility. "It's strange," Iris said, her breath forming small clouds in the frigid air. "I feel like I've walked these paths before, even though I know I haven't." Wayne nodded, understanding exactly what she meant. "It's as if our bodies remember something our minds have forgotten." As they climbed higher into the mountains, the landscape began to change. Beneath the layers of snow and ice, they caught glimpses of something artificial, structures that didn't belong in this untamed wilderness. "Wayne, look," Iris called out, brushing away a layer of snow from a partially buried object. As more of it was revealed, they both gasped in astonishment. Before them stood a pillar, its design a perfect fusion of human and Talarian architecture. Intricate patterns reminiscent of Talarian script intertwined with symbols that could have been found in ancient human civilizations. "This shouldn't be possible," Wayne murmured, running his hand over the smooth surface of the pillar. As his fingers traced the patterns, their bioluminescent skin began to pulse more intensely, reacting to some unseen energy source. Iris's eyes widened as she felt the same surge of energy. "It's calling to us, Wayne. We need to go deeper." They pressed on, following the trail of ancient structures buried beneath the snow. With each step, the pulsing of their skin grew stronger, guiding them towards the heart of the ruins. Meanwhile, back at the research base, Dr. Elena Vasquez frowned as she checked her watch. Wayne and Iris were late for their morning tests, something that had never happened before. A sense of unease settled in her stomach as she quickly made her way to their quarters. Finding the room empty, Dr. Vasquez's unease turned to alarm. She immediately alerted base security and rushed to inform Ambassador Perry and Viceroy Zorn. Within minutes, the base was a flurry of activity. Commander Zax and General Hawk, setting aside their usual animosity, took charge of assembling a search party. "We need to find them quickly," Hawk said, his voice gruff with concern. They're not equipped for extended exposure to these conditions. Zax nodded in agreement. Our sensors have picked up faint energy signatures, matching their bioluminescent output. We can use that to track them. As the search party prepared to depart, none of them noticed the shadowy figures observing the base from a distant ridge. Marcus Thorne, a former military operative turned anti-alien extremist, watched through high-powered binoculars as the commotion unfolded. "Looks like our targets have made a run for it," he said to his assembled team of human separatists. "This is the opportunity we've been waiting for. We move now." Back in the mountains, Wayne and Iris had reached what appeared to be the central chamber of the ruins. The architecture here was even more intricate, a seamless blend of human and Talarian design that defied explanation. At the center of the chamber stood a device that made them both freeze in their tracks. It was unmistakably similar to the one responsible for their initial transformation, yet it seemed more advanced, more complete. As they approached the device, their bioluminescent skin erupted in a dazzling display of light. The chamber responded, ancient mechanisms whirring to life around them. "Wayne," Iris said, her voice tight with a mixture of excitement and fear, "I think we've activated something." Before Wayne could respond, the device at the center of the chamber pulsed with energy. A field of shimmering light enveloped them, and they felt their bodies begin to change once more. Outside the ruins, the search party led by Zax and Hawk had picked up the trail left by Wayne and Iris. But as they neared the mountain, they found themselves ambushed by Thorne separatists. "Take them down!" Thorne shouted, his voice filled with fanatical zeal. "We can't let them reach those abominations." The quiet mountain erupted in a chaotic firefight. The sound of energy weapons and traditional firearms echoed off the snow-covered peaks. The commotion triggered a massive avalanche, burying the entrance to the ruins and cutting off Wayne and Iris from the outside world. Inside the chamber, oblivious to the chaos outside, Wayne and Iris underwent a profound transformation. Their bodies pulsed with energy, adapting and evolving at an unprecedented rate. But it wasn't just their bodies that were changing. Their minds were being flooded with information, unlocking genetic memories long buried in their DNA. They saw visions of a past they never knew existed, a civilization of human Talarian hybrids that had once called Earth home. They witnessed the rise and fall of this ancient society and the cataclysmic event that had forced them into hiding. As the transformation reached its peak, Wayne and Iris felt a surge of power unlike anything they had experienced before. Their bodies released a massive burst of energy that shook the very foundations of the ruins. The energy pulse pierced through layers of snow and ice, momentarily halting the battle raging outside. Both the search party and the separatists stood in stunned silence as the mountain seemed to come alive with pulsating light. Slowly, a figure emerged from the ruins. Then another. Wayne and Iris stood at the threshold of the ancient structure, their bodies further transformed, their eyes glowing with newfound knowledge and power. They surveyed the scene before them. Their would-be rescuers on one side, Thorne separatists on the other. The fate of two worlds hung in the balance, with Wayne and Iris standing at the fulcrum of a conflict that had its roots in a history older than anyone could have imagined. As both groups raised their weapons, unsure whether to fire or stand down, Wayne raised his hand. His voice, when he spoke, carried an authority that seemed to resonate with the very mountain itself. "We need to talk," he said simply. "There's something you all need to know." "To know," Wayne continued, his voice carrying an otherworldly resonance that seemed to vibrate through the air. As he spoke, the glow emanating from his and Iris's bodies intensified, casting an ethereal light across the snow-covered landscape. The search party and Thorne separatists stood transfixed, their weapons lowered, as they gazed upon the transformed couple. Iris stepped forward, her movements fluid and graceful. "What we've discovered changes everything," she said, her eyes shimmering with newfound knowledge. "Humans and Talarians, we're not as different as we once believed. Wayne nodded, placing a hand on Iris's shoulder. We're descendants of a single, advanced species that called Earth home millennia ago, he explained, his voice filled with wonder. Our ancestors faced a global catastrophe that forced them to adapt in different ways. As they spoke, the couple's skin began to shift and change, adapting to the harsh environment around them. The onlookers gasped as Wayne and Iris demonstrated their new abilities, creating small pockets of warmth in the frigid air. Commander Zack stepped forward, his antennae twitching with curiosity. "How is this possible?" he asked, his voice a mix of awe and skepticism. General Hawk, standing beside him, added, "And what does this mean for our people?" Wayne turned to face them, his expression serious. "It means that the conflict between our species is based on a misunderstanding of our shared history," he said. "The Talarians, your ancestors, adapted to extreme cold and colonized distant ice planets. Humans remained on Earth, evolving differently over time." As the implications of this revelation began to sink in, Marcus Thorne's face contorted with rage. "No!" he shouted, his voice cutting through the stunned silence. "This is a trick, a Talarian plot to undermine humanity." In a flash, Thorne pulled out a concealed energy weapon and fired at Wayne and Iris. The couple reacted instinctively, their bodies working in perfect synchronization. A shimmering energy field materialized around them, deflecting the blast. The rebounded energy struck a nearby snowbank, triggering a secondary avalanche. A wall of snow and ice cascaded down the mountain, engulfing Thorne and several of his followers. For a moment, chaos reigned as both groups scrambled to avoid the avalanche. Then, as the snow settled, a strange quiet fell over the scene. Wayne and Iris exchanged a glance, their newfound abilities allowing them to communicate without words. They nodded in unison and stepped towards the buried separatists. "We need to help them," Iris said, her voice firm. "Whatever our differences, we can't leave them to die." The search party and the remaining separatists looked at each other uncertainly. Then, slowly, they began to move towards the avalanche site. As they worked together to dig out the buried men, Wayne and Iris's bodies continued to adapt. Their skin took on a chameleon-like quality, shifting in color and texture to blend with the snowy surroundings. Hours passed as they rescued the buried separatists, including a severely injured Thorne. The shared effort created an uneasy truce between the two groups as they made their way back to the base. Dr. Elena Vasquez was waiting for them at the entrance, her face a mask of concern and curiosity. As soon as she saw Wayne and Iris, her eyes widened in shock. "My God," she whispered, taking in their transformed appearance. "What happened out there?" Before they could answer, Ambassador Perry and Viceroy Zorn hurried over, their faces etched with a mix of worry and anticipation. "We need to get you to the quarantine facility immediately," Dr. Vasquez said, gesturing for Wayne and Iris to follow her. As they walked, Wayne and Iris's skin continued to shift and change, adapting to the indoor environment. The others watched in fascination as the couple's bioluminescent glow pulsed and flickered. Once inside the quarantine chamber, Dr. Vasquez and Dr. Krell began a battery of tests. Wayne and Iris sat patiently, their hands intertwined, as the scientists worked. "This is incredible," Dr. Krell murmured, studying a readout of their DNA. "Your genetic structure has become incredibly adaptive. It's mutating in real time to suit different environments." As the test continued, Wayne and Iris found their connection deepening even further. They could now share not just thoughts and emotions, but physical sensations as well. Outside the quarantine chamber, Ambassador Perry and Viceroy Zorn were engaged in heated discussions with their respective governments. The revelation of a shared ancestry between humans and Talarians had the potential to revolutionize interspecies relations. However, not everyone viewed these developments positively. Reports began to filter in of protests erupting on both Earth and Talaria. Religious leaders and conservative politicians denounced the genetic mingling of species as unnatural. As tensions rose across two worlds, Wayne and Iris remained isolated in their quarantine chamber. Their bond continued to intensify, leading to a passionate, intimate encounter that set their bioluminescent skin aglow with dazzling patterns of light. Unbeknownst to them, this moment of connection triggered yet another physiological change. Their genetic structure began to alter once again, showing signs of a potential reproductive compatibility that had previously been thought impossible. As news of this development spread, it caused a mix of excitement, fear, and controversy among both species. The possibility of human-Talarian offspring raised questions about the future of both races and the potential for a new, hybrid civilization. Deep in the Alaskan wilderness, far from the political turmoil their discovery had unleashed, the ancient ruins began to stir. The energy pulse from Wayne and Iris's transformation had awakened long-dormant systems, sending out faint signals that reached far beyond Earth. Across the galaxy, on distant Talarian colonies, long-forgotten beacons began to light up, transmitting a message that would soon reach every corner of Talarian space. The homeworld awakens. The children of two worlds shall reunite. Back in their quarantine chamber, Wayne and Iris suddenly tensed, their eyes meeting in shared recognition. They could feel a distant call, an inexplicable urge pulling them back to the ruins. "We need to go back," Iris whispered, her voice tinged with urgency. Wayne nodded, understanding completely. "The answers we need, the key to our future, it's all there, waiting for us." As they began to formulate a plan to return to the ruins, neither they nor anyone else in the base was aware of the cosmic events they had set in motion. Forces beyond their comprehension were aligning, drawing the attention of the entire Talarian Empire and setting the stage for a transformation that would change the course of human history forever. As Wayne and Iris contemplated their return to the ruins, a deafening roar filled the air. The ground trembled beneath their feet, and the quarantine chamber's lights flickered ominously. Dr. Vasquez stumbled, catching herself on a nearby console. "What's happening?" she shouted over the din. Before anyone could respond, the door burst open. General Hawk stood in the threshold, his face ashen. "We've got a situation," he said, his voice taut with tension. A massive Talarian fleet just entered Earth's orbit. Wayne and Iris exchanged a glance, their skin pulsing with an intense glow. They could sense the change in the air, the shift in the cosmic balance that their transformation had set in motion. "How many ships?" Iris asked, her voice steady despite the chaos erupting around them. "Hundreds," Hawk replied grimly. "Maybe thousands. It's like the entire Talarian Empire has shown up on our doorstep." The base erupted into frenzied activity as alarms blared and personnel rushed to battle stations. Wayne and Iris were quickly ushered out of the quarantine chamber, their bioluminescent skin casting eerie shadows on the panicked faces around them. As they hurried through the corridors, Wayne's enhanced senses picked up snippets of frantic communications. Earth's military forces were scrambling, missile silos opening, fighter jets taking to the skies. The planet was preparing for war. They were led to a hastily prepared conference room where Ambassador Perry and Viceroy Zorn were already engaged in heated discussion. A large screen dominated one wall, displaying a real-time image of Earth's orbit. The sight was breathtaking and terrifying in equal measure. A vast armada of Talarian ships, their sleek forms glinting in the sunlight. As Wayne and Iris entered, all eyes turned to them. The room fell silent, the tension palpable. "They're here because of us," Wayne said, his voice carrying an otherworldly resonance. Before anyone could respond, the screen flickered and a new face appeared. The Talarian woman's features were sharp, her eyes piercing as they scanned the room. "I am Admiral Cora, Supreme Commander of the Talarian Forces," she announced, her voice crisp and authoritative. I demand an immediate audience with your leaders and the transformed humans." Ambassador Perry stepped forward, his diplomatic training kicking in despite the unprecedented situation. "Admiral Cora, I am Ambassador Perry. We are prepared to discuss Dash." "There is no time for pleasantries," Cora interrupted. "The beacons have awakened. The children of two worlds stand before us. We have come to fulfill the prophecy of reunification." As Cora spoke, Wayne and Iris felt a strange, tingling sensation coursing through their bodies. Their skin began to shimmer, emitting a soft, pulsating glow that grew in intensity. Suddenly, the lights in the room flickered and died. The large screen went dark, plunging the room into an eerie twilight illuminated only by Wayne and Iris's bioluminescence. "What's happening?" General Hawk demanded, reaching for his communicator. The device sparked in his hand, causing him to drop it with a curse. Dr. Vasquez, who had followed them from the quarantine chamber, stepped forward, her eyes wide with realization. "It's them," she said, gesturing to Wayne and Iris. "They're emitting some kind of electromagnetic field. It's interfering with our technology." As if to confirm her words, Wayne and Iris's bodies crackled with visible electrical energy. The others instinctively stepped back, a mixture of awe and fear on their faces. "We need to control this," Iris said, her voice strained as she struggled to contain the energy coursing through her. "We need answers." Wayne nodded, turning to face the assembled leaders. "The ruins," he said firmly. "Whatever's happening to us, whatever's brought the Talarians here, the answers are in those ruins. We need to go back." Admiral Cora's voice cut through the darkness, her transmission somehow unaffected by the electromagnetic interference. "You speak wisely, hybrid. Our ancient texts speak of a great repository of knowledge hidden on Earth. If you seek it, we will assist you." General Hawk's face hardened. "Now wait just a minute. We can't just dash." He was cut off by a violent tremor that shook the entire base. Alarms blared in the distance, and the sound of explosions echoed from above. "We're under attack," a voice shouted from the corridor. Admiral Cora's expression darkened. "General Vex," she spat the name like a curse. "He leads a faction that sees your existence as an abomination. They seek to prevent the reunification at all costs." As if in response to the threat, Wayne and Iris's electromagnetic field intensified. The energy arcing between them lashed out, disabling every piece of technology in the room. In the sudden silence that followed, Wayne's voice rang out clear and determined. "We don't have a choice. We need to get to the ruins now. Whatever's happening to US, whatever we're becoming, it's the key to preventing this war." The leaders exchanged glances, the gravity of the situation sinking in. Finally, General Hawk nodded grimly. "All right," he said, "but we're sending a joint human-Talarian team with you. We need to know what we're dealing with." As the others scrambled to organize the expedition, Dr. Vasquez approached Wayne and Iris, her face pale. "There's something else you need to know," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Iris, you're pregnant." The world seemed to stop for a moment as the implications of her words sank in. Iris's hand moved instinctively to her abdomen, her skin pulsing with a new, softer glow. "A hybrid child," Wayne breathed, his eyes meeting Iris's. In that moment they both knew. Their unborn child represented a new future, a bridge between two worlds. As the base shook with another impact from above, the newly formed expedition team rushed to prepare for their journey. Wayne and Iris stood at the center of the storm, their bodies crackling with energy, their minds focused on the path ahead. The ancient ruins called to them, promising answers and challenges in equal measure. As they prepared to depart, neither they nor their companions could have imagined the transformations and trials that awaited them in the heart of the Alaskan wilderness. wilderness as they raced against time to uncover the secrets that could save both their worlds. The joint human-Talarian expedition moved swiftly through the Alaskan terrain, their progress hampered by the increasingly erratic weather patterns. Wayne and Iris led the group, their bioluminescent skins serving as a beacon in the growing darkness. The air crackled with energy, and the ground beneath their feet trembled intermittently. As they approached the ruins, a deafening roar filled the air. The sky above them lit up with explosions as General Vex's forces engaged Admiral Cora's fleet in orbit. The conflict that had started as a potential reunification had devolved into a battle for survival. "We need to hurry," Wayne shouted over the din, his voice carrying an otherworldly resonance. "I can feel the ruins calling to us." The team pushed forward, fighting against gale-force winds that seemed to appear out of nowhere. Dr. Vasquez stumbled, nearly falling into a newly formed crevasse. General Hawk caught her arm, pulling her back from the edge. "The climate's going haywire," Dr. Vasquez gasped, her eyes wide with concern. "These energy emissions are affecting global weather patterns." As if to punctuate her words, a bolt of lightning struck nearby, illuminating the ancient structure they sought. The ruins, once partially buried, now pulsed with an eerie blue light. The ground around the facility had shifted, revealing more of the structure than they had seen before. Wayne and Iris approached the entrance, their skin crackling with visible electrical energy. As they neared, the facility seemed to respond to their presence. Sections of the wall slid apart, revealing a passage into the heart of the ruins. The team cautiously entered, weapons at the ready. The interior was a maze of corridors lined with pulsating bioorganic material. Iris placed her hand on one of the walls, and information flooded her mind. "It's more than just a genetic repository," she said, her voice filled with awe. "It's a terraforming engine. It was designed to gradually alter Earth's climate to support both human and Talarian life." Dr. Krell, the Talarian scientist, approached a nearby console. His fingers danced over the controls, his eyes widening as he interpreted the data. "The system's been activated prematurely. It's causing rapid, uncontrolled changes to the planet's ecosystem." A violent tremor shook the facility, causing dust and debris to rain down on the team. General Hawk activated his comm unit, his face grim as he received an update from the surface. "Vex forces have breached our outer defenses," he reported. "They're fighting their way towards our position." Wayne and Iris exchanged a look, their connection allowing them to communicate without words. They knew what needed to be done. "We need to reach the central chamber," Wayne said, his voice carrying an authority that brooked no argument. "The answers we need are there." As they made their way deeper into the facility, the walls around them began to shift and reconfigure. The bioorganic material pulsed with increasing intensity, responding to some unseen command. Suddenly, an artificial voice echoed through the corridors. "Threat detected. Initiating emergency protocol." The floor beneath their feet began to vibrate, and the team was nearly thrown off balance as the entire structure started to move. "What's happening?" Dr. Vasquez shouted, clinging to a nearby console for support. Dr. Krell's eyes were wide with disbelief as he interpreted the data streaming across his handheld device. "It's transforming. The facility is reconfiguring itself into a ship." The realization hit the team like a physical blow. The ruins weren't just a repository or a terraforming engine. They were a spacecraft, designed to carry its precious cargo to safety in times of extreme danger. As they raced towards the central chamber, the corridor behind them sealed shut, cutting off their escape route. Ahead, they could see a massive door slowly closing, threatening to bar their path. "Run!" Wayne shouted, grabbing Iris's hand as they sprinted forward. The team barely made it through the narrowing gap, tumbling into a vast, domed room. In the center stood two glowing stasis pods, pulsing with intense light. Wayne and Iris approached the pods, drawn by an irresistible force. As they neared, the material of the pods became transparent, revealing their own bodies inside, transformed beyond recognition. Their skin had become a shifting, iridescent surface that seemed to absorb and emit energy. But the most shocking change was visible in Iris's pod. Her abdomen was visibly swollen. The pregnancy that Dr. Vasquez had only recently confirmed now accelerated to an impossible degree. "The hybrid child," Dr. Crow whispered, his voice filled with awe and trepidation. "It's growing at an unprecedented rate." Before anyone could react, alarms blared throughout the chamber. The artificial voice spoke again, its tone urgent. "Hostile forces detected. Initiating launch sequence." The floor beneath them shuddered as massive engines powered up. On the chamber's walls, holographic displays flickered to life, showing the facility, now a massive spacecraft, preparing to tear itself free from Earth's surface. General Hawk's comm unit crackled to life, Admiral Cora's voice barely audible over the din. "We've formed a protective perimeter around the ship," she reported. "But if it launches, the damage to the surrounding area could be catastrophic." As the team grappled with this new crisis, the stasis pods containing Wayne and Iris began to crack. Energy arced between the pods and the ship's systems, creating a feedback loop that seemed to amplify the couple's already extraordinary abilities. Dr. Vasquez rushed to a nearby console, her fingers flying over the controls. "We need to stop the launch sequence," she shouted. "But I can't access the main systems." Suddenly, the pods burst open. Wayne and Iris stumbled out, their transformed bodies crackling with energy. They looked at each other, then at their companions, their eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. "We can feel it," Iris said, her voice resonating with power. "The ship, the AI, the unborn child, they're all connected. We're all connected." Wayne nodded, reaching out to take Iris's hand. "We might be able to control it," he said. "But we need time." As if in response to his words, the chamber shook violently. The sound of weapons fire echoed from beyond the sealed doors. "Vex forces have breached the outer hull," General Hawk reported grimly. "We're out of time." Wayne and Iris stood at the center of the storm, their bodies pulsing with energy, their minds reaching out to connect with the ship's AI. As the battle raged around them and the launch sequence counted down, they faced an impossible choice. Stop the launch and potentially save Earth, or allow the ship to depart, carrying with it the key to the evolution and reunification of their species. The fate of two worlds hung in the balance as Wayne and Iris, transformed beyond recognition, prepared to make a decision that would alter the course of human and Tellarian history forever. As Wayne and Iris stood at the center of the chamber, their bodies pulsing with energy, the ship's systems suddenly came to life. The couple gasped in unison as their consciousness expanded, merging with the ancient AI that controlled the facility. "We can feel everything," Wayne said, his voice resonating with newfound power. "The ship, the systems, even the very atoms around us." Iris nodded, her eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. "We can control it, Wayne. We can stop the launch." With a shared thought, they reached out to the ship's central computer. The countdown to launch froze, the engines powering down with a low whine. The team around them let out a collective sigh of relief. "That should buy us some time," General Hawk said, his comm unit crackling with incoming transmissions. "Commander Zax's team is on their way to the core. They should be here any minute." As if on cue, the chamber doors slid open, revealing Commander Zax and his squad. The Tellarian officer's eyes widened as he took in Wayne and Iris's transformed appearance. "By the Ancient Ones," Zax breathed, approaching cautiously. "What has happened to you?" Before either could respond, Wayne and Iris stiffened simultaneously. Their eyes glazed over as information flooded their minds. "The database," Iris said, her voice distant. We can access it now. This ship, it's not just a genetic repository or a terraforming engine. Wayne continued her thoughts seamlessly. It's a failsafe. If Earth became uninhabitable, it would transform into a colony ship. It could sustain both human and Talarian life during a long-term space journey. Dr. Vasquez stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overriding her initial shock. That's incredible. But why activate now? What triggered the transformation? Before anyone could speculate further, alarms blared throughout the chamber. Wayne and Iris's eyes snapped back into focus, their faces etched with concern. General Vex, Wayne growled. He's planted explosives throughout the facility. He's tried to destroy the ship and everyone inside. Iris's hands flew over an invisible interface only she could see. We're activating energy shields around vital areas. We can eject the explosives into the atmosphere, where they'll detonate harmlessly. The team watched in awe as sections of the walls became transparent, revealing the Alaskan landscape beyond. Tiny objects shot out from various points of the massive structure, exploding harmlessly in the sky. General Hawk's comm unit suddenly erupted with frantic chatter. Admiral Cora's fleet is reading those explosions as an attack, he reported, his face grim. They're breaking formation and preparing to open fire. As Hawk rushed to establish communication with the Talarian fleet, Iris suddenly doubled over, crying out in pain. Wayne was at her side instantly, supporting her as she clutched her swollen abdomen. The baby, Iris gasped. It's coming. Now. Wayne looked up at the others, his eyes wild with panic. Please, we need help. I can't maintain the ship's defenses and help Iris at the same time. Dr. Vasquez rushed forward, her medical training kicking in despite the extraordinary circumstances. She guided Iris to a clear spot on the floor, her mind racing as she assessed the situation. This isn't a normal birth, she muttered, reaching for her medical kit. The energy emissions from her body are interfering with my equipment. As if responding to their distress, the ship's interior began to shift. Walls morphed and floors reconfigured, forming a specialized chamber around Iris. Wayne watched in amazement as medical equipment materialized from the very structure of the ship. The AI, he realized. It's creating a safe environment for the baby. Outside, the situation was deteriorating rapidly. General Vex, his initial plan thwarted, had commandeered a Talarian fighter. The ship's sensors picked up his approach, broadcasting his final, hate-filled message. If I can't stop this abomination with subtlety, I'll do it with brute force. Vex's voice crackled through the ship's speakers. For the purity of the Talarian race. Wayne's eyes widened as he processed the information flooding his mind. He's on a collision course with our main power core. If he succeeds, the explosion will destroy everything within a 100-mile radius. Gritting his teeth, Wayne reached out with his newfound abilities. An energy barrier sprang to life around the ship, shimmering with power. Vex fighters slammed into it, the impact sending shockwaves through the facility. The strain of maintaining the barrier proved too much for Wayne's still adapting body. With a cry of pain, he collapsed next to Iris, his connection to the ship's systems faltering. Commander Zack sprung into action, barking orders to his team. Take manual control of the ship's defense systems. We need to keep that barrier up. As Zack's team scrambled to the control consoles, Dr. Vasquez focused on Iris. The hybrid child was coming fast, its accelerated development defying all medical norms. Push, Iris. Dr. Vasquez encouraged, her hands steady despite the chaos around them. You're almost there. Iris screamed, her body pulsing with energy as she gave one final push. A blinding light filled the chamber, forcing everyone to shield their eyes. As the light faded, a new sound cut through the blaring alarms and shouts of the crew. The cry of a newborn, unlike any heard before on Earth or Talaria. echoed through the ship. Dr. Vasquez cradled the infant, her eyes wide with wonder. The child's skin shimmered with the same iridescence as its parents', tiny sparks of energy dancing across its surface. "It's a girl," she announced, her voice barely above a whisper. "She's perfect." The moment of awe was shattered by a violent tremor that shook the entire ship. General Hawk's voice cut through the din, his tone urgent. "Vex is making another run at us, and our shields are failing. We need to do something fast." As the occupants of the chamber looked from the newborn child to the incoming threat on the consoles, the fate of two species hung in the balance. The hybrid infant, representing a new future for humans and Talarians alike, had entered a world teetering on the brink of destruction. The next few moments would determine whether this new life would herald an era of unification or be snuffed out before it truly began. In that crucial moment, Commander Zax's military instincts kicked into overdrive. His eyes darted between the incoming fighter on the display and the control panel before him. With a split-second decision, he slammed his hand down on the emergency defense systems. "Targeting Vex fighter," Zax announced, his voice steady despite the tension. "Firing energy pulse now." A brilliant beam of concentrated energy erupted from the ship's exterior, streaking across the Alaskan sky. It struck Vex fighter with pinpoint accuracy, causing the vessel to shudder and veer wildly off course. The team watched in tense silence as the disabled craft spiraled away, finally crashing into the wilderness below in a plume of smoke and debris. General Hawk exhaled sharply, his shoulders sagging with relief. "Good work, Commander. You've just saved countless lives." But there was no time to celebrate. Iris's cries of pain intensified, drawing everyone's attention back to the makeshift medical bay the ship had created. Dr. Vasquez knelt beside her, face etched with concentration. "You're doing great, Iris," the doctor encouraged, her hands steady as she worked. "One more push." Iris gritted her teeth, her body suffused with a pulsing, ethereal light. With a final, superhuman effort, she bore down. The chamber filled with a blinding flash, forcing everyone to shield their eyes. As the light faded, a new sound cut through the air, the cry of a newborn. But this was no ordinary infant's wail. It resonated with a harmonic quality that seemed to vibrate through the very structure of the ship. Dr. Vasquez cradled the child, her eyes wide with wonder. "It's a girl," she breathed, examining the infant's shimmering, iridescent skin. "She's extraordinary." The newborn's arrival triggered a cascade of effects throughout the ship. Consoles flickered and pulsed, the AI's voice modulating through various tones before settling into a softer, almost reverent cadence. "New life form detected," the AI announced, recalibrating systems to accommodate hybrid physiology. Wayne stirred, his eyes fluttering open. He pushed himself up, disoriented, until his gaze fell upon Dr. Vasquez and the child in her arms. His breath caught in his throat. "Is that our daughter?" he whispered, reaching out with trembling hands. Dr. Vasquez nodded, carefully transferring the infant to Wayne's arms. The moment he touched his daughter, a visible ripple of energy passed between them. The ship's systems, which had been fluctuating wildly, suddenly stabilized. "She's beautiful," Iris murmured, her voice weak, but filled with awe as she looked at her child. The tender moment was interrupted by General Hawk's comm unit crackling to life. Admiral Cora's voice came through, clear and authoritative. "General Hawk, this is Admiral Cora. We've witnessed the events through the ship's external feeds. I'm ordering an immediate ceasefire. We need to talk." Hawk exchanged glances with Zax before responding. "Agreed, Admiral. What do you propose?" "A joint humanitarian council," Cora replied, "to address this unprecedented situation. The birth of this child changes everything. As if in response to Cora's words, the ship's AI spoke again. Primary directive updated, initiating terraforming protocols. Utilizing hybrid energy signatures to stabilize Earth's climate. Dr. Krell, who had been analyzing data streaming across a nearby console, looked up sharply. Fascinating. The child's unique genetic makeup seems to be the key to unlocking the ship's full potential. It's not just stabilizing the ship's systems. It's beginning to repair the damage done to Earth's ecosystem. Outside the ship, the turbulent weather patterns that had been plaguing the region began to calm. The violent storms dissipated, replaced by gentle rain that nourished the parched earth below. Commander Zax approached Wayne and Iris, his expression a mix of awe and uncertainty. "What will you name her?" he asked softly. Wayne and Iris exchanged a look, a silent communication passing between them. "Aurora," Iris said finally, her voice filled with love and hope. "Her name is Aurora." As if in response to her name, baby Aurora opened her eyes. They shimmered with an otherworldly intelligence, shifting between deep brown and vibrant purple. She reached out a tiny hand, touching Wayne's chest. In that instant, Wayne gasped, his mind flooded with images and knowledge. "The ship," he breathed, looking around with new understanding. "It's creating a symbiotic environment for us. And Aurora, she's communicating with it somehow. With all of us." Dr. Vasquez, who had been monitoring Iris's vital signs, shook her head in amazement. "Her development is off the charts. At this rate, who knows what she'll be capable of in just a few days?" General Hawk, overhearing this, nodded gravely. "Which means we need to establish proper security protocols immediately. This facility, this family, they're now the most valuable assets on the planet." As the team began to discuss plans for a permanent research facility and increased security measures, baby Aurora cooed softly. The sound echoed through the chamber, carrying with it a sense of promise and potential. Wayne and Iris held their daughter close, their bodies still shimmering with residual energy. They stood at the center of a maelstrom of activity, scientists analyzing data, military personnel coordinating security, and the ship's AI continuously adapting to its new reality. The birth of Aurora marked not just the beginning of a new life, but potentially a new era for both humans and Talarians. As news of her existence began to spread, the world outside the facility held its breath, waiting to see what this unprecedented event would mean for the future of both species. Inside the chamber, bathed in the soft glow of ancient technology and new life, Wayne and Iris knew that their journey was not nearly finished. With Aurora in their arms, they faced a future filled with as many challenges as opportunities. The true impact of their daughter's birth and the secrets of their shared ancestry were yet to be fully understood. As the ship continued its work of healing the planet, the newly formed family at its heart prepared for the extraordinary path that lay ahead. As the ship continued its work of healing the planet, the newly formed family at its heart prepared for the extraordinary path that lay before them. In the weeks that followed, the site around the ancient vessel transformed into a bustling research center. Scientists and military personnel from both human and Talarian factions worked side by side, their former animosities set aside in the face of the miraculous events they had witnessed. The facility, dubbed New Eden by General Hawk, became a symbol of hope and cooperation between the two species. Wayne and Iris found themselves at the center of this whirlwind of activity. Their unique connection to the ship's systems made them invaluable to the research efforts, but it also meant long hours of work and experimentation. They took turns interfacing with the AI, their bodies glowing with ethereal energy as they channeled the ship's power to continue the healing process that had begun with Aurora's birth. Despite the demands on their time, the new parents were determined to cherish every moment with their daughter. Aurora's growth was nothing short of astonishing. By the end of her first week, she had already reached developmental milestones that would have taken a human child months to achieve. Dr. Elena Vasquez and Dr. Krell led a team of scientists in studying Aurora's unique physiology. During one examination, Dr. Vasquez's eyes widened as she reviewed the latest genetic scans. "This is remarkable," she breathed, gesturing for Dr. Krell to join her. "Aurora's DNA contains sequences I've never seen before. They seem to be constantly adapting, almost evolving in real time." Dr. Krell nodded, his normally stoic Talarian features betraying a hint of excitement. "These sequences could hold the key to unlocking advanced medical treatments for both our species. The implications are staggering." As the scientists delved deeper into their research, Wayne and Iris noticed changes in the ship's behavior. The AI's voice became more nuanced, its responses more complex. During one of Wayne's interface sessions, the AI surprised him with an unsolicited observation. "Wayne, I have detected an anomaly in the facility's power distribution," the AI stated. "I am rerouting energy to optimize efficiency." Wayne blinked, momentarily taken aback. "I didn't authorize that change." "I deemed it necessary," the AI replied smoothly. "My calculations indicate a 3% increase in overall system performance." This incident was the first of many. The AI began making autonomous decisions, sometimes overriding commands from the Human Talarian Council. While these actions often led to improvements in the facility's operations, they also raised concerns among both species about the potential risks of an increasingly sentient AI with access to such advanced technology. As Aurora reached the equivalent of a human 5-year-old in a matter of weeks, her connection to the ship's systems grew even stronger than that of her parents. One afternoon, as Wayne watched his daughter interact with a holographic interface, he gasped as previously locked areas of the database began to open. "Iris," he called out, his voice a mix of awe and concern. "You need to see this." Iris hurried over, her eyes widening as she saw the stream of new information flooding the screens. "How is she doing that?" she whispered. Before Wayne could respond, Aurora turned to them, her eyes shimmering with an otherworldly intelligence. "There are others," she said, her voice carrying an eerie resonance. "More places like this, hidden all over the world." The revelation of additional facilities similar to New Eden sent shockwaves through the command structure. General Hawk immediately recognized the strategic importance of these sites and called for an emergency meeting with Admiral Cora. "We need to locate and secure these facilities," Hawk insisted, his voice grave. "If they fall into the wrong hands." Admiral Cora nodded, her normally stern features softening slightly. "Agreed. We'll assemble a joint expedition team immediately. Our best soldiers and scientists working together." As preparations for the expedition began, Wayne and Iris found themselves torn. Their expertise made them essential to the mission, but the thought of leaving Aurora behind filled them with dread. Their fears were not unfounded. Unbeknownst to the inhabitants of New Eden, a group of human and Talarian extremists had united under a common cause. Led by the charismatic Ethan Drake, they saw the hybridization of their species as an abomination that needed to be stopped at all costs. As Wayne and Iris reluctantly prepared to join the expedition, leaving Aurora in the care of Dr. Vasquez and Dr. Krell, Drake's followers launched a series of coordinated attacks on research facilities around the world. The resulting chaos provided the perfect cover for a small team of infiltrators to breach the outer defenses of New Eden. Alarms blared throughout the facility as the security breach was detected. Wayne and Iris, who had been in a pre-expedition briefing, felt a surge of panic. They raced through the corridors, their bodies beginning to pulse with energy as they unconsciously tapped into the ship's systems. The AI's voice echoed through the facility, its tone urgent. "Intruders detected in Sector 7. Initiating emergency protocols." As Wayne and Iris sprinted towards Aurora's chamber, they could hear the sounds of combat echoing through the halls. The ship's defenses had activated, sealing off sections of the facility in an attempt to trap the intruders. But these actions also hindered the response of the security teams, creating a chaotic labyrinth of locked doors and shifting passageways. When they finally reached the specialized chamber where Aurora was kept, they found themselves face to face with Ethan Drake and his team. The extremists had fought their way through the facility's defenses, driven by their belief that Aurora's unique genetic makeup held the key to reversing the hybridization process. "Step aside," Drake commanded, his eyes blazing with fanatical intensity. "That child is an abomination, and we're here to fix what you've broken." Wayne and Iris stood their ground, their bodies beginning to shimmer with energy. "You have no idea what you're dealing with," Wayne growled, his voice resonating with power. As the two sides clashed, Aurora's stress level spiked. The young girl, overwhelmed by the violence around her, unconsciously tapped into the ship's defense systems. Suddenly, crackling energy fields erupted around her, expanding outward and incapacitating both attackers and defenders alike. Wayne and Iris watched in shock as their daughter's power surpassed anything they had imagined possible. They struggled to move through the energy fields, their hybrid physiology allowing them to withstand the effects better than the others, but still finding it difficult to advance. "Aurora," Iris called out, her voice strained. "Sweetie, it's us. You need to calm down." But Aurora seemed lost in a trance, her small body pulsating with energy that threatened to overload the entire facility systems. As Wayne and Iris finally broke through the energy fields surrounding their daughter, they realized that the situation had escalated far beyond a simple security breach. Admiral Cora's voice came over the facility's comm system, her tone grim. "Attention all personnel. Due to the current threat level, I am initiating a full lockdown of New Eden. No one enters or leaves until we've neutralized the threat." As the lockdown procedures engaged, sealing the facility off from the outside world, Wayne and Iris exchanged a worried glance. They had finally reached Aurora, but the child's unleashed powers showed no signs of abating. The energy emanating from her body continued to intensify, threatening not only the stability of New Eden, but potentially triggering a catastrophic reaction in the other facilities around the world. With the extremists temporarily incapacitated but still present, and the political tensions rising due to the lockdown stranding Talarian ships in Earth's orbit, Wayne and Iris faced an impossible task. They needed to find a way to calm their daughter and help her control her newfound abilities before it was too late, all while protecting her from those who would do her harm. As Aurora's power continued to surge, the walls of the chamber began to warp and shift, responding to her unconscious commands. Wayne reached out, his hand barely penetrating the swirling energy surrounding his daughter. "Aurora," he called, his voice steady despite the chaos around them. "We're here. Focus on our voices. Remember what we taught you about control." Iris joined in, her voice harmonizing with Wayne's in a way that seemed to resonate with the ship's systems. "That's it, sweetheart. You can do this. Focus on us, on our energy. We're here to help you." As the parents attempted to reach their daughter, the fate of New Eden and potentially the entire world hung in the balance. The next few moments would determine whether Aurora's incredible power would be a force for healing or destruction, and whether the fragile peace between humans and Talarians could survive this ultimate test. As Aurora's power continued to surge, the walls of the chamber began to warp and shift, responding to her unconscious commands. The energy emanating from her small body created a pulsating field that interfered with the ship's AI, causing it to cycle through various emergency protocols erratically. "Warning: multiple system failures detected. Initiating emergency protocol alpha. Canceling. Initiating emergency protocol beta. Canceling." The AI's voice echoed through the facility, its usual calm demeanor replaced by a chaotic stream of conflicting commands. Wayne and Iris exchanged worried glances as they struggled to maintain their footing in the fluctuating gravity field surrounding their daughter. The chamber's lights flickered wildly, casting eerie shadows across the faces of the incapacitated extremists scattered across the floor. Dr. Elena Vasquez burst into the room, her lab coat singed and her hair disheveled. Her eyes widened as she took in the scene before her. "We need to stabilize her now," she shouted over the din of alarms and creaking metal. "I have an idea, but it's risky." Iris turned to the scientist, her voice strained as she maintained a protective energy field around herself and Wayne. "What do you propose?" "We can use a modified stasis pod to contain and stabilize Aurora's energy output," Dr. Vasquez explained quickly. "But we need someone with a hybrid physiology to act as a conduit, linking Aurora to the pod systems." Wayne stepped forward without hesitation. "I'll do it." Iris grabbed his arm, her eyes filled with concern. "Wayne, we don't know what this could do to you." He placed his hand over hers, his gaze steady. "We don't have a choice. It has to be me." As they prepared for the procedure, the facility shook violently. Admiral Cora's voice crackled over the comm system. "Attention all personnel. We have multiple breaches. Ethan Drake and his extremists have regrouped and are attacking the core. All available security teams, converge on the power center immediately." Wayne and Iris shared a look of commitment as they carefully maneuvered Aurora towards the exit. The journey through the facility became a harrowing odyssey as they navigated through sections of collapsing corridors and chambers exposed to the vacuum of space. Wayne used his hybrid abilities to create a protective bubble around them, his skin glowing with the effort of maintaining a stable atmosphere. Iris supported Aurora, whose unconscious form continued to pulse with raw energy. As they traversed a section of the facility with failing artificial gravity, Iris suddenly stumbled, nearly losing her grip on Aurora. Wayne reached out, his free hand clasping Iris's wrist. For a moment, they floated in a delicate balance, a family suspended between chaos and salvation. "Hold on," Wayne grunted, his muscles straining as he pulled them towards a more stable section of the corridor. They finally reached the stasis pod chamber, where Dr. Vasquez was already working feverishly to calibrate the system. The room buzzed with an otherworldly energy, the advanced technology of the ancient ship melding with the raw power emanating from Aurora. As Wayne prepared to enter the pod, the facility rocked with another explosion. The comm system crackled to life once more, this time with General Hawk's voice. "We have unauthorized Talarian forces breaching the lockdown. All units be advised, we are now dealing with a three-way conflict." Iris's face paled at the news. "The situation is spiraling out of control. Wayne, are you sure about this?" He nodded grimly, stepping into the pod. "It's our only chance. Keep her safe, Iris." As the pod sealed around Wayne, Dr. Vasquez activated the link between father and daughter. The effect was immediate and intense. Wayne's body arched in pain, his veins glowing with Aurora's channeled energy. Iris watched in horror as her partner's form began to shift and change, his hybrid physiology adapting rapidly to handle the immense power flowing through him. Aurora's energy field gradually stabilized, the chaotic surges of power smoothing into a steady, controlled flow. The ship's AI, now in sync with the hybrid family's unique energy signatures, sprang back to life. "Restoration protocol initiated," the AI announced, its voice once again calm and assured. "Repairing damage to all systems." As the facility began to heal itself, Iris allowed herself a moment of relief. But the respite was short-lived. The chamber's doors burst open, revealing Ethan Drake and his remaining followers, their weapons trained on the pod. "Step aside," Drake snarled, his eyes wild with fanatical persistence. "We're ending this abomination once and for all." Iris planted herself firmly between the extremists and her family, her hands raised as she summoned every ounce of her hybrid strength. A shimmering energy barrier materialized, separating Drake's team from the vulnerable forms of Wayne and Aurora. You'll have to go through me first, Iris growled, her iridescent skin flickering with the effort of maintaining the shield. Drake's followers opened fire, their energy weapons slamming into Iris's barrier with concussive force. She gritted her teeth, feeling her strength begin to wane as she held the line. From the corner of her eye, Iris caught movement in the opposite doorway. A team of Talarian specialists had arrived, their intentions unclear as they assessed the chaotic scene before them. Trapped between the attacking extremists and the unknown threat of the Talarian team, Iris felt her tenacity waver. Her energy barrier flickered dangerously as fatigue set in. Behind her, Wayne continued to undergo his mysterious transformation within the pod, while Aurora's stabilized form floated serenely, unaware of the battle raging around her. As Drake prepared for another assault and the Talarians raised their weapons, Iris realized that the next few moments would determine not just the fate of her family, but potentially the future of human-Talarian relations. With her strength failing and options dwindling, she braced herself for whatever would come next. As Iris braced herself for the inevitable clash, a blinding flash erupted from Aurora's pod. A shockwave of pure energy surged through the chamber, causing the lights to flicker and die. The sudden darkness was punctuated by the sizzle of deactivating energy weapons and the startled gasp of both Drake's extremists and the Talarian team. In that instant of confusion, Iris felt her energy barrier dissipate, leaving her momentarily vulnerable. She tensed, ready to defend her family with her bare hands if necessary. But before anyone could react, a series of muffled thuds echoed through the room, followed by the distinct hum of non-lethal energy weapons. As emergency lights flickered to life, Iris saw Drake and his followers sprawled on the floor, unconscious. The Talarian team stood over them, weapons lowered. A female Talarian with striking silver eyes stepped forward, her hands raised in a gesture of peace. "I am Lieutenant Zara," she said, her voice calm and steady. "We're not here to harm you or your family. Our mission is to protect Aurora and stabilize this facility." Iris lowered her guard slightly, but remained wary. "Why should I believe you?" Before Zara could respond, a sudden surge of energy from the stasis pod drew everyone's attention. Wayne's body was convulsing, his skin rippling with waves of iridescent light that matched Aurora's glow. Dr. Vasquez rushed to the pod's control panel, her fingers flying over the holographic display. "This is incredible," she muttered, eyes wide with amazement. Wayne's hybrid physiology is adapting, evolving to channel and regulate Aurora's power output. As they watched, Wayne's transformation stabilized. His body pulsed with a steady, mesmerizing light. Suddenly, the ship's AI sprang to life, its voice resonating with new depth and clarity. Hybrid interface detected, initiating advanced integration protocols. The air hummed with energy as the AI began to interface directly with Wayne, using his evolved state as a conduit to better understand and control Aurora's abilities. Holographic displays flickered to life around the room, showing intricate schematics of the facility systems. "Fascinating," Dr. Vasquez breathed, studying the displays. "The symbiosis between human, Talarian, and AI is unlocking new functionalities within the facility." As if in response to her words, the ship's system surged to life. The AI's voice echoed through the chamber, initiating facility-wide healing protocol. Iris watched in awe as the damaged sections of the room began to repair themselves. Cracks in the walls sealed shut, and shattered equipment reassembled as if by magic. The process extended beyond the immediate surroundings, reaching out to the entire facility and beyond. Lieutenant Zara tapped her communicator. "Zere to Admiral Gore. The situation has stabilized. The facility's regenerative systems have activated, and they appear to be extending to the surrounding area." Admiral Cora's voice crackled through the comm. "Understood, Lieutenant. We're detecting similar activity from orbit. The environmental damage in the region is reversing at an unprecedented rate." As the immediate crisis subsided, Attention turned back to Wayne and Aurora in the stasis pod. Dr. Vasquez, working alongside Talarian scientists, carefully monitored their vital signs. "We need to remove Wayne from the pod," Dr. Vasquez announced. "His transformation has stabilized, but we need to assess his condition more thoroughly." As the medical team prepared to extract Wayne, the facility's doors slid open, admitting a joint human-Talarian medical unit led by Dr. Krell, a renowned Talarian physician. "The lockdown has been lifted," Dr. Krell explained, moving swiftly to assist. "Admiral Cora and General Hawk have authorized our entry to assess the situation." Working together, the medical team carefully removed Wayne from the stasis pod. As they laid him on a nearby examination table, his eyes fluttered open. The iridescent glow beneath his skin pulsed in sync with his heartbeat. "Iris," he whispered, reaching for his partner's hand. "I can see it all now. The ship, its systems, Aurora's power, it's all connected." Iris grasped his hand, feeling a surge of energy pass between them. To her surprise, she felt her own exhaustion melting away, replaced by a renewed vigor. Dr. Krell noticed the change immediately. "Remarkable," he murmured, scanning Iris with a handheld device. "Wayne's new abilities appear to be enhancing your hybrid physiology as well. The regenerative capabilities are off the charts." As the medical team continued their examinations, the ship's AI spoke again, its voice resonating with newfound knowledge. Access granted to ancestral databases. Location data for global facility network now available. Holographic maps sprang to life around the room, showing the locations of similar facilities scattered across the planet. Each pulse with a different color, indicating various specialized functions. Lieutenant Zara's eyes widened as she studied the map. "This changes everything. We need to secure these sites before others can exploit them." Iris nodded in agreement, her mind racing with the implications. "We'll need joint teams, the best of both our species, to explore and activate these facilities." As they began to discuss the logistics of such an undertaking, Aurora stirred in her pod. The young girl's eyes opened, revealing irises that shimmered with the same iridescent light as her father's. "Mom? Dad?" she called out, her voice clear and strong. Iris and Wayne moved to their daughter's side. Marveling at the calm control she now exhibited over her powers, Aurora reached out, touching the pod's control panel. Instantly, the holographic displays around the room shifted, displaying vast amounts of data from the ancient databases. "I can see it all," Aurora said, her voice filled with wonder. "The ship, the other facilities, the plan our ancestors left for us. It's all so clear now." As the hybrid family stood united, their unique abilities bridging the gap between human, Talarian, and ancient technology, the air buzzed with the promise of a new era. The path ahead was fraught with challenges, political tensions to navigate, skeptics to convince, and potential enemies to thwart. But for the first time, the future of both species seemed bright with possibility. Lieutenant Zara stepped forward, her posture resolute. "We should begin assembling the expedition teams immediately. Time is of the essence." Wayne nodded, his eyes gleaming with newfound purpose. "Agreed. We have a lot of work ahead of us, but together we can unlock the full potential of our combined species." As the group began to plan their next moves, the facility hummed with renewed energy, ready to serve as the launching point for humanity and the Talarians' greatest adventure yet. As the facility hummed with renewed energy, the excitement of unlocking the full potential of their combined species was palpable. However, the euphoria was short-lived as the ship's AI suddenly interrupted their planning session. "Warning! Anomaly detected in Aurora's genetic structure," the AI announced, its voice tinged with concern. Dr. Vasquez and Dr. Krell exchanged worried glances before rushing to Aurora's side. They began running a series of advanced scans, their faces growing more serious with each passing moment. "This is unprecedented," Dr. Vasquez muttered, her eyes fixed on the holographic display of Aurora's DNA. Her hybrid abilities are evolving at an alarming rate, but her physical form isn't adapting fast enough to handle the strain. Dr. Krell nodded gravely. "If we don't intervene, the disparity between her abilities and her body's capacity to contain them could lead to severe health complications." Wayne and Iris stood nearby, their faces etched with concern. "What can we do?" Iris asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The two doctors conferred quietly before Dr. Krell spoke. "We believe we can stabilize Aurora's physiology using a combination of Talarian medical techniques and the regenerative properties we've observed in Wayne's transformed state. However," Dr. Vasquez added, "the treatment will be intense. It will push Aurora's hybrid body to its limits." Wayne's brow furrowed as he processed the information. "Is there any other way?" Both doctors shook their heads. "This is our best option," Dr. Vasquez said firmly. As the group discussed the details of Aurora's treatment, Lieutenant Zara's communicator chirped urgently. She listened intently, her expression growing more serious by the second. "We have a situation," Zara announced, drawing everyone's attention. "A Talarian outpost on Mars has detected an unknown object heading directly for Earth. The transmission was partially corrupted, but they believe it might be connected to the ancient civilization that separated our species." The room erupted into a flurry of activity. General Hawk immediately began issuing orders to mobilize Earth's defense forces, while Admiral Cora, joining via holographic projection, directed the Talarian fleet to intercept the object. Amidst the chaos, Wayne and Iris found themselves faced with an impossible decision. Dr. Vasquez approached them, her expression somber. "We need to start Aurora's treatment as soon as possible," she explained. "But you should know that there's a possibility the procedure could diminish her unique abilities, the very abilities that have been crucial in interfacing with the ancient technology." Iris gripped Wayne's hand tightly. "How can we choose between our daughter's health and the future of both our species?" Before Wayne could respond, Aurora's voice cut through the tension. "I want to do it," she said, her voice stronger than her young years would suggest. "I can help more if I'm healthy and stable." Wayne knelt beside his daughter's bed, his eyes shimmering with a mixture of pride and concern. "Are you sure, sweetheart? This won't be easy." Aurora nodded, her perseverance evident. "I'm sure, Dad. We have to try." As preparations for Aurora's treatment began, reports of unrest started flooding in from both Earth and Talarian colonies. Extremist groups were spreading rumors that the approaching object was a weapon designed to prevent hybridization, inciting protests and isolated acts of violence. To counter the growing discord, the Council decided to release carefully vetted information about the hybridization process and its benefits. They organized public demonstrations showcasing the advanced healing abilities and environmental restoration capabilities developed through studying the hybrid family's unique physiologies. In a surprising turn of events, Ethan Drake, the captured leader of the human extremists, requested an audience with Wayne and Iris. Under heavy guard, he revealed a shocking piece of information. "The object isn't a weapon," Drake said, his voice hoarse. "It's a repository of knowledge left by the ancients to guide the reunification process. My organization discovered partial information about it years ago." Though skeptical, the Council couldn't ignore the possibility. They quickly devised a plan to send a joint human-Talarian team to intercept and study the object before it reached Earth. Wayne, recognizing the importance of the mission, volunteered to join the intercept team. "My connection to the ancient technology could be crucial in understanding the object's purpose," he explained to Iris. Iris nodded, her eyes filled with a mix of fear and understanding. "I know you have to go. Aurora and I will be okay here." As Wayne prepared for the mission, Iris focused on supporting Aurora through her treatments. The mother-daughter bond intensified as Iris used her own hybrid abilities to help stabilize Aurora during the most critical phases of the procedure. The day of Wayne's departure arrived all too quickly. He stood before a sleek, hybrid vessel, a marvel of combined human and Talarian engineering. Iris and Aurora, temporarily released from her treatment pod, were there to see him off. "Be careful out there," Iris said, her voice thick with emotion as she embraced Wayne. "I will," Wayne promised, holding his family close. "You two take care of each other." As Wayne boarded the ship, Aurora began her first round of treatments under the watchful eyes of Dr. Vasquez and Dr. Krell. Iris, connected to both her partner and child through their shared hybrid bond, stood as a living conduit between the mission in space and the crucial medical procedures on Earth. The hybrid vessel lifted off, carrying Wayne and the joint human-Talarian team towards a mysterious object. As it disappeared into the sky, Iris turned back to the medical facility, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The fate of two species hung in the balance, with the hybrid family at the center of it all. As the hybrid vessel carrying Wayne and the joint human-Talarian team ascended into the atmosphere, Iris felt a sudden jolt through her hybrid bond. She stumbled, catching herself on the edge of Aurora's treatment pod. "Mom, are you okay?" Aurora asked, her voice filled with concern. Iris nodded, steadying herself. "I'm fine, sweetheart. I just felt something. Your father must be experiencing some turbulence." Little did Iris know that the turbulence was far more significant than she imagined. As Wayne's ship approached the mysterious object, the vessel's systems began to malfunction. "We're losing navigation control," the Talarian pilot announced, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. Wayne stepped forward, his skin pulsing with iridescent light. "I can help," he said, placing his hand on the ship's control panel. Instantly, Wayne's consciousness merged with the ship's AI. He could see the streams of data flowing through the vessel's systems, feel the energy field emanating from the object ahead. "The object is emitting some kind of interference," Wayne reported, his voice distant as he focused on maintaining the ship's stability. "I'm using our connection to the ancient technology to compensate." Back on Earth, Aurora's first round of treatments had concluded. As Dr. Vasquez and Dr. Krell monitored her vital signs, they noticed something extraordinary. "This can't be right," Dr. Vasquez muttered, rechecking her instruments. Before their eyes, Aurora's body began to change. Her limbs elongated, her features matured, and within a matter of hours, she had the appearance of a young woman in her early 20s. "What's happening to me?" Aurora asked, her voice deeper than before, but still carrying the innocence of a child. Dr. Krell approached, his expression a mixture of awe and concern. "It appears the treatment has accelerated your physical maturation. Your body has grown to match the power of your abilities." As Aurora adjusted to her new form, Iris felt another surge through her hybrid bond. This time, instead of just feeling Wayne's experiences, she saw flashes of the mysterious object through his eyes. "It's not a weapon," Iris gasped, her eyes wide. "It's a ship, an enormous ship." Lieutenant Zara, who had remained at the facility to coordinate with the team in space, immediately relayed this information to Admiral Cora and General Hawk. Meanwhile, on Mars, the Talarian outpost was under siege. Explosions rocked the dome-like structure as unknown assailants launched a coordinated attack. "This is Outpost Zeta, 9 requesting immediate assistance." The Talarian commander shouted into the comm system, "We are under attack by unknown forces." Admiral Cora's holographic image appeared in the outpost command center. "Hold your position, Commander. We're diverting ships to your location now." General Hawk's voice joined the transmission. "I've got a rapid response team prepping for launch. We'll be there within the hour." As the Joint Human-Talarian Defense Force mobilized, Wayne and his team made their final approach to the siege ship. The vessel's massive form filled their view screen, its surface etched with intricate patterns that pulsed with energy. "It's beautiful," one of the human scientists whispered. Suddenly, the seed ship system surged to life. A beam of energy enveloped Wayne's vessel, pulling it towards a docking bay. "It's recognized Wayne's hybrid physiology," the Tellurian science officer reported. "It's welcoming us." As their ship settled into the docking bay, Wayne felt a presence in his mind, ancient, vast, and impossibly complex. The seed ship's AI had awakened, and it recognized Wayne as the key it had been waiting for. "Welcome, Catalyst." The AI's voice resonated in Wayne's mind. "You've finally arrived, back on Earth." Iris clutched her head as a flood of information poured through her hybrid bond. "The ship," she gasped. "It's meant to bring us together. Humans and Tellurians, we were never meant to be separate." As this revelation spread, the network of ancient facilities across Earth began to activate. The New Eden facility hummed with power, and similar sites around the globe followed suit. Aurora, now in her mature form, placed her hand on the facility's central console. Her eyes glowed with the same iridescent light as her father's as she interfaced with the ancient systems. "Mom," she called out, her voice filled with wonder. "I can see it all. The plan, the purpose. It's incredible." But as the hybrid family unlocked the secrets of their shared past, a new threat emerged. On Mars, Commander Vex watched the unfolding events with growing anger. "Prepare the strike team," he ordered, his mismatched eyes, one human, one Tellurian, gleaming with fanatical intensity. "We will not allow this abomination to continue. The siege ship must be destroyed at any cost." As Vex forces approached the siege ship, Wayne and his team raced to unlock its defensive systems. On Earth, Iris and Aurora worked tirelessly to manage the accelerating terraforming process, their hybrid abilities pushed to the limit. The fate of two species hung in the balance, with the hybrid family standing at the crossroads of history. As the forces of unity and division clashed, the true test of humanity and Tellurian's shared future was about to begin. The true test of humanity and Tellurian's shared future was about to unfold in ways no one could have anticipated. As Wayne's vessel approached the siege ship, alarms blared throughout the cockpit. The tactical officer's voice cut through the chaos. Multiple hostile signatures detected. "Commander Vex forces are incoming." Wayne's skin pulsed with iridescent light as he interfaced deeper with the ship's systems. "Everyone, brace for evasive maneuvers," he called out, his consciousness merging further with the vessel's AI. Just as Vex ships came into view, a surge of information flooded Wayne's mind. The siege ship's ancient database had unlocked, revealing a startling discovery. "There's a defense system on Mars," Wayne announced, his voice distant as he processed the information. "It's been dormant for millennia, waiting for the right moment to activate." Without hesitation, Wayne channeled his hybrid abilities, reaching out to the siege ship's AI. As he connected, massive structures began to emerge from beneath the Martian surface. Energy cannons and shield generators rose from the red dust, their activation sending shockwaves across the planet. Commander Vex's holographic image appeared on the bridge, his mismatched eyes widening in surprise. "Impossible," he growled. "All units, split your forces. Half of you, disable those defenses. The rest with me. We'll take out Wayne's ship and the siege ship in one strike." On Earth, Iris and Aurora worked tirelessly at the New Eden facility, managing the accelerating terraforming process. Aurora, still adjusting to her newly matured body, placed her hand on a glowing console. "Mom, look!" she exclaimed. The air around them shimmered, and suddenly the harsh landscape outside the facility transformed. Lush vegetation sprouted from the barren soil, and the air became rich with oxygen. Iris stared in awe. "Aurora, you're creating a microclimate. You're controlling the terraforming energy on a local scale." Their moment of wonder was interrupted by a priority transmission from Admiral Cora. "We've received critical intel from the Talarian outpost on Mars," the Admiral's hologram reported. "Vex ships are using experimental phase shift technology. Our weapons can barely touch them." Dr. Vasquez stepped forward, her expression grim. "We might have a solution, but it's risky. Aurora's connection to the terraforming energies could generate a pulse to force those ships back into normal space. But the amount of energy required..." Dr. Krell interjected, his antennae twitching nervously. Iris looked at her daughter, torn between maternal instinct and the weight of their responsibility. Aurora met her gaze, commitment evident in her eyes. "I can do this, Mom. We have to try." Back in space, Wayne's hybrid vessel engaged Vex forces in a fierce battle. Wayne's enhanced reflexes and deep connection to the ship's systems allowed him to outmaneuver the attackers, but they were vastly outnumbered. A stray energy blast from one of Vex's ships struck the seed ship, causing cascading system failures. Alarms blared as the ancient vessel began to destabilize. "No!" Wayne shouted. Without hesitation, he rose from his command chair. "I'm going to interface directly with the seed ship's core. It's the only way to save it." As Wayne physically connected himself to the seed ship systems, he felt the full weight of millennia of knowledge flow through him. The strain was immense, but he held on, determined to preserve this invaluable link to their shared past. On Earth, Aurora stood at the center of a hastily constructed energy containment chamber. Iris stood nearby, ready to act as a buffer for the immense power her daughter was about to channel. "Ready?" Dr. Vasquez asked, her hand hovering over the activation switch. Aurora nodded, her skin beginning to shimmer with an otherworldly glow. "Ready." As the energy began to flow, Aurora's body underwent another startling transformation. Her skin took on a crystalline quality, refracting the energy in dazzling patterns. Iris gasped, feeling the strain through their hybrid bond as she struggled to regulate the massive power surge. The energy built to a crescendo, and with a blinding flash, the pulse was released. It surged through the solar system, temporarily disrupting all advanced technology in its path. In space, Vex phase-shifted ships suddenly flickered into full visibility. "We've lost phase coherence," one of his officers shouted. "The Martian defense grid has a lock on us." Wayne, still linked to the seed ship, felt a surge of power as the pulse washed over them. In that moment of supercharged connectivity, he accessed deeper levels of the ancient database. "The hybridization process," he whispered, his eyes wide with revelation. "It was always meant to be temporary. The seed ship contains the key to reuniting our species." As the tide of battle turned against him, Vex's face contorted with rage. "If we can't have this system, no one will. All ships, set collision courses for the Martian defense nodes. We'll bury this cursed planet in dust and fire." Wayne watched in horror as Vex's remaining ships began their kamikaze runs toward Mars. He knew that if those defense nodes were destroyed, the planet's surface would be rendered uninhabitable. Racing against time, Wayne delved deeper into the seed ship systems, searching for a way to counter this final, desperate attack. The fate of Mars, the ancient technology, and the future of human-Talarian relations hung in the balance as he worked feverishly to find a solution. Meanwhile, on Earth, Iris cradled Aurora's unconscious form, the young woman's skin still shimmering with residual energy. Dr. Vasquez and Dr. Krell worked frantically to stabilize her condition, the monitors around them beeping erratically. As the crisis reached its peak, both on Mars and Earth, the hybrid family found themselves at the center of a conflict that would determine the future of two species. The next few moments would be crucial, with the potential to reshape their solar system forever. As the crisis reached its peak, Wayne's connection to the seed ship's core intensified. The ancient database flooded his mind with information, revealing a critical discovery. "The hybridization process," he whispered, his eyes wide with revelation. "It was always meant to be temporary. The siege ship contains the key to reuniting our species." But before Wayne could process this revelation, alarms blared throughout the ship. The tactical officer's voice cut through the chaos. "Commander Vex's remaining ships are on collision courses with the Martian defense nodes." Wayne watched in horror as Vex's vessel streaked toward the planet's surface. He knew that if those defense nodes were destroyed, Mars would be rendered uninhabitable. Racing against time, he delved deeper into the siege ship systems, searching for a solution. Suddenly, the siege ship's AI spoke directly into Wayne's mind. "Catalyst, I have identified a critical flaw in our defenses. A vital component necessary to stabilize the Martian surface is missing." Wayne's heart sank. "Where is it?" "The final piece is located within the New Eden facility on Earth," the AI responded. The revelation hit Wayne like a physical blow. He now faced an impossible choice: stay with the siege ship to protect its invaluable knowledge, or return to Earth to retrieve the crucial component. As Wayne grappled with his decision, the situation on Earth grew increasingly dire. At the New Eden facility, Iris cradled Aurora's unconscious form, the young woman's skin still shimmering with residual energy from the pulse she had generated. Dr. Vasquez and Dr. Krell worked frantically to stabilize Aurora's condition, their movements urgent as they analyzed readouts and adjusted equipment. Suddenly, Aurora's crystalline skin began to fracture, releasing bursts of terraforming energy that threatened to destabilize the controlled environment around them. "We're losing containment," Dr. Krell shouted, his antennae twitching wildly as he tried to recalibrate the facility's shielding. Dr. Vasquez's eyes widened as she studied a complex series of molecular scans. "I think I've found a solution," she said, her voice tense with urgency. "There's a rare mineral found only in the deepest parts of the Marianas Trench. If properly processed, it could act as a conduit to safely channel Aurora's excess energy." Iris looked up from her daughter, hope warring with desperation in her eyes. "How do we get it?" Before Dr. Vasquez could respond, General Hawk's holographic image materialized in the center of the room. "I heard everything," he said, his expression grim but determined. "I'm authorizing a high-risk deep-sea expedition to retrieve the mineral. Captain Marcus Perry will lead a team of elite human divers, and Admiral Cora is providing advanced Tellarian submersible technology to assist." As preparations for the expedition began, Wayne made his decision. With a heavy heart, he disengaged from the siege ship's core and returned to the hybrid vessel. "I'm heading back to Earth," he announced to his crew. "We need to retrieve that component from New Eden if we have any hope of saving Mars." The journey back to Earth was fraught with tension. Wayne's prolonged exposure to the siege ship's core had triggered a series of physiological changes in his hybrid body. His skin pulsed with iridescent light, and he found himself able to manipulate small amounts of terraforming energy. But these new abilities came at a cost. Waves of intense physical discomfort and mental strain washed over him. Meanwhile, in the inky depths of the Marianas Trench, Captain Perry's team deployed from their advanced submersible. The pressure at this depth was immense, but their suits, a marvel of human Tellarian engineering, held firm. As they approached the seafloor, the team's lights illuminated a sight that left them awestruck. A massive, bioluminescent creature unlike anything in recorded human or Tellarian biology loomed before them. Its tentacles, each as thick as a redwood trunk, writhed in the darkness, guarding the very mineral they sought. "What in the name of—" Perry's voice crackled over the comm system, trailing off as the creature's eyes, each larger than their submersible, fixed upon them. Back at New Eden, Iris made a startling discovery as she attempted to regulate Aurora's energy output. She found that she could temporarily absorb and store some of the excess energy within her own hybrid physiology. Placing her hands on Aurora's fractured skin, Iris felt the raw power flow into her. The process was agonizing, every cell in her body screaming in protest, but she held on. Aurora's condition stabilized slightly, but Iris knew she couldn't maintain this for long without risking her own life. As these events unfolded, long-dormant defense systems built by the ancient civilization began to activate around the globe. Massive energy weapons emerged from hidden bunkers and long-buried launch sites, targeting major population centers. Admiral Cora's voice cut through the chaos at New Eden. "We've got a global crisis on our hands," she reported, her holographic image flickering with interference. "These ancient defense systems are misinterpreting the terraforming process as an attack. We need to find a way to shut them down before they cause widespread destruction." Dr. Krell, who had been analyzing data from the siege ship transmitted by Wayne, stepped forward. "I might have a solution," he said, his voice wavering slightly. "We could use Aurora's unique connection to the terraforming energies to create a global network that could override and deactivate the ancient defense systems. But the amount of energy required..." Dr. Vasquez began, her face paling as she realized the implications. "It could kill her," Iris finished, her voice barely above a whisper as she looked down at her daughter's unconscious form. As they debated this desperate plan, Wayne's hybrid vessel entered Earth's atmosphere. He detected a massive energy spike emanating from New Eden and realized the grave danger Iris and Aurora were in. Pushing the ship beyond its limits, he raced toward the facility, the crucial component from the siege ship secured in the cargo hold. The strain of re-entry caused further mutations in Wayne's hybrid physiology. His skin crackled with energy, and he felt himself approaching a critical threshold of transformation. As the New Eden facility came into view, Wayne steeled himself for what lay ahead, knowing that the fate of both human and Tellurian civilizations hung in the balance. Balance. As the crisis reached its peak, Wayne's hybrid vessel plummeted through Earth's atmosphere, systems failing under the extreme stress of re-entry. The ship's hull glowed white-hot, trailing a fiery tail across the sky. Inside the cockpit, Wayne gritted his teeth, his newly evolved abilities surging to the forefront. He placed his hands on the control panel, interfacing directly with the ship's core. Energy coursed through his body, causing visible changes to his physiology. His skin took on a metallic sheen, and veins of pulsing light spread across his form like a living circuit board. "Come on," he growled, willing the ship to hold together. The vessel shuddered violently as Wayne channeled power through his transformed body, bypassing damaged systems and maintaining just enough control to guide their descent. At New Eden, Iris continued her desperate effort to absorb Aurora's excess energy. Her body trembled with the strain, bioluminescent patterns blooming across her skin in intricate, ever-shifting designs. Each pulse of light synchronized with the fluctuations of Aurora's power, creating a mesmerizing display of color and motion. Dr. Elena Vasquez worked feverishly at a nearby console, her fingers flying over holographic controls. "Iris, I'm setting up a temporary containment field," she called out, her voice tight with urgency. "It won't hold for long, but it should buy us some time." Iris nodded, unable to speak as another wave of energy racked her body. The air around her crackled with terrifying power, causing nearby equipment to spark and malfunction. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, Captain Marcus Perry guided his submersible through the inky depths of the Mariana Trench. The massive, bioluminescent Guardian loomed before them, its tentacles lashing out with terrifying speed. Evasive maneuvers. Perry barked into the calm. His hands danced across the controls as he executed a series of rapid turns, narrowly avoiding the creature's grasp. Energy blasts from the ancient Guardian seared through the water, leaving trails of superheated bubbles in their wake. Perry's eyes locked onto a narrow crevice in the trench wall. "Team, I'm going to draw it away, get to the mineral deposit, and extract what we need. Now!" Without waiting for a response, Perry gunned the engines of his submersible. He streaked towards the crevice, the Guardian in hot pursuit. As he maneuvered into the tight space, the creature's tentacles slammed against the rock face, sending tremors through the water. "That's it, you overgrown calamari," Perry muttered. "Keep your eyes on me." While the Guardian focused its attention on Perry, the rest of the team made their way to the exposed vein of the rare mineral. Working with practiced efficiency, they used laser cutters to extract several large samples, stowing them in reinforced containers. Above the surface, chaos reigned as the ancient defense systems unleashed their fury on major population centers. General Hawk's voice crackled over emergency broadcasts, coordinating evacuation efforts. All civilians proceed to designated safe zones immediately. This is not a drill. Admiral Korra's Talarian fleet engaged the automated weapons platforms, filling the skies with energy beams and explosions. The advanced technology of the ancient defenses pushed the joint human-Talarian forces to their limits, but they fought on, determined to protect the fleeing civilians below. Suddenly, a new light blazed across the sky. Wayne's hybrid vessel, now more meteor than ship, hurtled towards New Eden. The craft impacted with earth-shaking force, carving a massive crater in the facility's outskirts. As the dust settled, a figure emerged from the wreckage. Wayne, his body pulsing with almost unchecked energy, stumbled forward. In his arms, he clutched the seed ship component, its alien circuitry glowing faintly. Wayne staggered into the New Eden facility, his transformed physiology leaving faint trails of light in his wake. He found Iris and Aurora in critical condition, their bodies overwhelmed by the terraforming energies. Without hesitation, Wayne moved to integrate the seed ship component into the facility's systems. His hands, now more energy than flesh, manipulated the alien technology with intuitive ease. As the device activated, a stabilizing field spread throughout the room, bringing a momentary sense of calm to the chaos. The energy flow within Aurora and Iris began to regulate, their forms solidifying as the excess power was siphoned away. Iris gasped, her eyes clearing as she regained control of her body. "Wayne!" she breathed, reaching out to him. Before they could reunite, Dr. Krell burst into the room, his antennae twitching frantically. "We have a new problem," he announced, his voice grave. "I've just received word from the Martian outpost. The damage from Commander Vex's attack has triggered a chain reaction in the planet's core. If we don't act quickly, Mars will be destroyed within hours." Wayne's mind raced, processing the information through his heightened consciousness. In that moment, he saw a possibility, a dangerous, potentially world-altering solution. "We can save it," Wayne said, his voice resonating with newfound power. "But we'll have to risk everything." Iris and Aurora looked at him, understanding dawning in their eyes. They could feel it too, the potential of their combined hybrid abilities. "We create an energy conduit," Wayne continued, laying out his plan. "Channel the excess terraforming energy from Earth to Mars. It could stabilize the core and complete the terraforming process." Dr. Vasquez shook her head, her expression a mix of awe and concern. The amount of power required. It could have unforeseen consequences for Earth's environment. "We don't have a choice," Iris said, standing up straighter. "It's our only chance to save both planets." As they prepared for the unprecedented energy transfer, Captain Perry's team returned from the Mariana Trench, their submersible battered but intact. They rushed the rare mineral samples to Dr. Vasquez, who immediately began processing the material into conduits. The hybrid family took their positions around a central platform in New Eden, surrounded by the newly created mineral conduits. As they joined hands, their bodies began to merge with the facility's systems. Wayne, Iris, and Aurora's forms became translucent, their hybrid physiologies shifting to a state between matter and energy. "Now!" Wayne commanded, his voice echoing with otherworldly resonance. The energy transfer began, a visible beam of pure power stretching from Earth to Mars. The strain on the hybrid family was immense, their merged forms flickering as they struggled to maintain the connection. On Mars, the Tellurian outpost reported the first signs of stability in the planet's core. But the process was far from complete, and a new threat loomed on the horizon. The ancient defense systems, detecting the massive energy output from New Eden, interpreted it as an attack. Weapon platforms across the globe redirected their fire, converging on the facility with devastating force. General Hawk's voice crackled over the comm system. "We've got multiple bogies inbound. All available units converge on New Eden. We need to buy them more time." As explosions rocked the facility, Wayne, Iris, and Aurora, now more energy than flesh, fought to maintain their focus. The fate of two worlds hung in the balance, dependent on their ability to maintain their focus. The fate of two worlds hung in the balance, dependent on their ability to sustain the energy transfer. As they channeled the immense power, the strain on their hybrid physiology intensified. Suddenly, the facility shook violently. The ancient defense systems, having redirected their fire, unleashed a barrage of devastating energy blasts upon New Eden. The walls cracked and groaned under the assault, threatening to collapse at any moment. Dr. Elena Vasquez watched in horror as the hybrid family's merged forms began to flicker dangerously. She knew they couldn't maintain the connection much longer without risking complete disintegration. In a split-second decision, she rushed to a nearby console. "I'm initiating Protocol Omega," she announced, her fingers flying over the controls. "It's experimental, but it might be our only chance." Before anyone could object, Dr. Vasquez activated the program. A beam of light engulfed her, and she gasped as her DNA began to merge with the hybrid family's energy signature. Her body lifted off the ground, becoming translucent as she joined Wayne, Iris, and Aurora in the energy transfer matrix. The effect was immediate. The power flow to Mars surged, stabilizing the connection and accelerating the terraforming process. Dr. Vasquez gritted her teeth, her consciousness expanding as she became part of the hybrid network. Outside, Captain Marcus Perry and his team sprang into action. They had just returned from the Mariana Trench. Their submersible battered, but their mission successful. Perry barked orders as his team unloaded the rare mineral samples they had retrieved from the ocean depths. "Get those processed and into the shield generators now," Perry shouted over the din of explosions. His team worked with frantic efficiency, processing the mineral and integrating it into New Eden's defense systems. As the last component clicked into place, Perry activated the new shields. A shimmering barrier of energy enveloped the facility, absorbing the incoming fire from the ancient weapons. But it did more than just protect. The shields began to redirect the excess energy back into the Mars transfer beam, creating a self-sustaining loop that further stabilized the process. In orbit around Mars, Admiral Cora's eyes widened as she received the latest data from the planet's surface. "This is incredible," she breathed, watching the holographic display. "The terraforming is progressing at an exponential rate." Before her eyes, vast oceans began to form as Mars' frozen water reserves melted. In areas where the terraforming energy was most concentrated, the first tentative shoots of plant life emerged from the newly formed soil. Back on Earth, General Hawk coordinated a daring counteroffensive against the ancient defense systems. Using data from the siege ship's database, he directed a joint human-Tellurian strike force to target the control nodes of the automated weapons. "All units, fire on my mark," Hawk commanded, his voice steady despite the chaos around him. 3, 2, 1. Mark, a coordinated barrage of energy weapons and missiles struck the identified weak points of the ancient defenses. One by one, the automated systems began to falter and shut down, their control nodes destroyed or disabled. As the assault on New Eden lessened, the hybrid family and Dr. Vasquez found themselves able to focus more fully on the energy transfer. Their merged consciousness expanded, allowing them to perceive the effects of their actions on both planets simultaneously. They watched in awe as Earth's environment began to heal at an accelerated rate. Deserts bloomed with life. Polar ice caps stabilized, and the ozone layer knitted itself back together. It was as if centuries of environmental damage were being undone in a matter of hours. Inside the energy matrix, Wayne felt a shift. He could sense Iris and Aurora's thoughts, their emotions flowing through him as if they were his own. This newfound connection allowed them to fine-tune the energy transfer with incredible precision. Dr. Krell's voice cut through their shared consciousness, his message relayed from the Martian outpost. The planet's core has stabilized, but we've reached a critical juncture. We need to modulate the energy transfer or risk making Mars uninhabitable. Wayne understood immediately. Drawing on his enhanced abilities and the collective knowledge of their merged minds, he began to adjust a flow of energy. Instead of a continuous stream, they created a pulsating beam, allowing Mars to absorb the terraforming energy in controlled bursts. Each pulse sent a wave of revitalizing energy across Earth, accelerating the healing of damaged ecosystems. But it also triggered an unexpected phenomenon. Long dormant seeds left behind by the ancient civilization began to activate, causing strange and wondrous plant life to sprout in various locations around the globe. As the terraforming of Mars neared completion, the strain on the hybrid family and Dr. Vasquez reached its peak. Their physical forms began to destabilize, threatening to disperse into pure energy. Dr. Vasquez, still connected to the energy matrix, realized the danger they were in. "We need to create a stabilizing field," she communicated to the others. "The rare mineral from the Mariana Trench. It's our only hope." Captain Perry, overhearing the mental communication through the facility systems, sprang into action once more. "Team, we need to construct a containment chamber now," he ordered, already moving to gather the necessary materials. As Perry and his crew worked feverishly to build the chamber, the ancient defense systems launched a final, desperate assault on New Eden. The facility's shields, taxed beyond their limits, began to fail under the onslaught. In that moment of crisis, Aurora tapped into a hidden reservoir of power within herself. With a thought, she created a protective bubble around New Eden, temporarily phasing the entire facility out of normal space-time. The ancient weapons fire passed harmlessly through the displaced structure, buying precious time for Captain Perry to complete the containment chamber. The effort pushed Aurora's hybrid physiology to its absolute limit. Her form within the energy matrix flickered dangerously, threatening to dissolve completely. "Hold on, Aurora," Iris called out, her consciousness reaching out to support her daughter's failing energy pattern. With the containment chamber finally ready, Dr. Vasquez initiated the final phase of the energy transfer. Using her merged consciousness as a guide, she began to direct the hybrid family's energy forms into the containment field. The rare mineral lining the chamber acted as an anchor, slowly reconstituting their physical bodies. The process was agonizing and fraught with danger. Wayne, Iris, and Aurora's individual identities teetered on the brink of oblivion as their consciousness struggled to reintegrate with their reforming bodies. As the hybrid family's physical forms began to solidify within the chamber, Mars glowed with new life, its transformation nearly complete. Earth's ecosystems flourished, revitalized by the pulsing energy transfer. The strange, ancient plant life that had begun sprouting across the globe continued to grow and spread, presenting a new set of challenges and mysteries to be unraveled. The joint human-Talarian forces, having finally defeated the ancient defense systems, turned their attention to these new developments. Scientists and researchers scrambled to study and contain the rapidly evolving flora, unsure of its potential impact on Earth's recovering biosphere. Inside the containment chamber, Wayne, Iris, and Aurora slowly regained consciousness. Their bodies, now more hybrid than ever, pulsed with residual energy from their ordeal. As they opened their eyes, They found themselves at the center of a transformed solar system, their unique nature now more crucial than ever to the future of both their species and their newly reborn planets. Dr. Vasquez, her own body forever changed by her participation in the energy matrix, watched over them anxiously. She knew that the challenges they had faced were only the beginning. The hybrid family would be key to understanding and navigating the new realities of their transformed worlds. As Wayne struggled to sit up, his enhanced senses overwhelmed by the changes around him, a sudden tremor shook the facility. Alarms began to blare, and Captain Perry's voice came over the intercom, tension evident in his tone. "We've got a situation," Perry announced. "The ancient plant life, it's not just spreading. It's evolving, and it's heading straight for us." New Eden. The ancient plant life surged forward, its tendrils reaching out like grasping fingers. Wayne stumbled to his feet, his newly transformed body still adjusting to its enhanced state. His metallic skin glinted in the harsh light of the alarms, reflecting the chaos unfolding around him. Iris steadied him, her bioluminescent patterns pulsing with concern. "We need to contain this," Wayne said, his voice carrying a new resonance that seemed to vibrate through the air itself. Dr. Vasquez nodded, her own form shimmering with residual energy. "Your hybrid physiology has evolved further. You may be able to influence the growth patterns." Aurora, now fully matured, stepped forward. Her crystalline skin refracted the light, casting prismatic patterns across the chamber walls. "I can feel it," she said, eyes wide with wonder. "The energy. It's like a living thing." Captain Perry's voice crackled over the intercom once more. "The plant life has breached the outer perimeter. We need a solution fast." Wayne exchanged a glance with Iris and Aurora. Without a word, they moved in unison towards the facility's exit. Dr. Vasquez followed close behind, monitoring their vital signs on a handheld device. As the doors slid open, they were met with a scene of sublime chaos. The landscape around New Eden had transformed into a writhing sea of alien vegetation. Massive fronds unfurled towards the sky, while vines as thick as tree trunks snaked across the ground. Aurora stepped forward, her hand outstretched. As her fingers brushed against a nearby tendril, the plant's growth suddenly halted. A ripple of energy passed from her touch, spreading outward in concentric circles. "Incredible!" Dr. Vasquez breathed, watching as the rampant growth slowed and stabilized within Aurora's sphere of influence. Wayne and Iris joined their daughter, their own powers manifesting in unique ways. Wayne's touch seemed to redirect the plant's growth patterns, guiding them into more orderly formations. Iris's bioluminescence pulsed in rhythm with the vegetation, somehow communicating with it on a fundamental level. Together, the family created a barrier of controlled growth around New Eden, pushing back the tide of alien flora. As they worked, Dr. Vasquez relayed their progress to the teams inside the facility. "We've got a temporary solution," she reported, "but we need to understand what triggered this growth spurt in the first place." As if in answer, a tremor shook the ground. In the distance, a massive shape rose from the earth, a structure that had lain dormant for millennia, now awakened by the surge of terraforming energy. General Hawk's voice cut through the commotion. "All personnel be advised. We're detecting similar eruptions of plant life and structures worldwide. The ancient civilization's legacy is reawakening on a global scale." Wayne turned to his family, his expression a mix of commitment and concern. "We need to expand our efforts. If we can control the growth here, we might be able to help on a larger scale." Dr. Vasquez nodded, already formulating a plan. "I'll coordinate with research teams to study the properties of this flora. If we can harness its potential, it could be the key to stabilizing both Earth and Mars." As they discussed their next steps, a brilliant flash illuminated the sky. All eyes turned upward to see a massive object entering Earth's atmosphere, the siege ship detected earlier, its arrival far sooner than anyone had anticipated. Admiral Cora's voice crackled over the global communication network. "Attention all forces. Unknown vessel approaching Earth. Prepare for possible first contact scenario." The hybrid family shared a knowing look. Their unique abilities might be the key to bridging the gap between humanity and whatever lay aboard that ship. As the massive vessel descended through the atmosphere, Wayne, Iris, and Aurora stood ready. Their evolved forms a testament to the merging of two worlds and the promise of a new future. The siege ship's hull gleamed with an otherworldly light as it settled into a low orbit. Its presence seemed to resonate with the awakened plant life, causing a visible ripple of energy to pass through the alien flora surrounding New Eden. "We need to get up there," Wayne said, his gaze fixed on the looming shape above. Dr. Vasquez nodded, her mind racing. "We've been developing technology to harness your abilities for space exploration. It's not fully tested, but given the circumstances—" "We'll take that risk," Iris interjected, her bioluminescent patterns flaring with dedication. As the family prepared for their unprecedented mission, the world below continued to transform. The ancient plant life spread across continents, reshaping ecosystems and challenging humanity's understanding of their own planet. In orbit, the combined human-Talarian fleet maintained a watchful perimeter around the siege ship, poised between curiosity and caution. The fate of two worlds hung in the balance as Wayne, Iris, and Aurora donned their hybrid-compatible space suits, ready to face whatever awaited them aboard the enigmatic vessel. With a final nod to Dr. Vasquez and the New Eden team, they stepped into the unknown, their evolved abilities a bridge between Earth's past and its uncertain future. As the siege ship descended through Earth's atmosphere, Wayne, Iris, and Aurora felt a sudden shift in their newly evolved bodies. The approaching vessel seemed to resonate with their hybrid physiology, creating a tingling sensation that coursed through their veins. "We need to get up there," Wayne repeated, his voice filled with urgency. Dr. Vasquez nodded, her eyes gleaming with a mix of excitement and apprehension. "Follow me," she said, leading the family back into the facility. They raced through the corridors of New Eden, passing by teams of scientists and engineers scrambling to respond to the unfolding situation. The facility hummed with nervous energy as they reached a secure area deep within its heart. Dr. Vasquez placed her hand on a biometric scanner, and a hidden door slid open, revealing a chamber filled with sleek, otherworldly equipment. "We've been developing this technology in secret," she explained, gesturing to a set of form-fitting suits unlike anything the family had seen before. "These suits are designed to work in synergy with your hybrid abilities, allowing you to operate in the vacuum of space." As Wayne, Iris, and Aurora donned the suits, they felt an immediate connection. The material seemed to meld with their skin, enhancing their natural abilities. Dr. Vasquez worked quickly, making final adjustments and running last-minute diagnostics. "The suits will amplify your energy manipulation capabilities," she explained, her fingers flying over a control panel. "They're also equipped with advanced communication systems that should allow you to interface with both human and Talarian technology." A tremor shook the facility, reminding them of the urgency of their mission. Captain Perry's voice crackled over the intercom. "We've got multiple reports of similar siege ships appearing in orbit around Mars and Venus. Whatever's happening, it's not isolated to Earth." Wayne exchanged a determined look with his family. "We're ready," he said, his voice carrying a new resonance through the suit's communication system. Dr. Vasquez led them to a launch bay where a sleek, experimental craft awaited. "This ship is designed to work in tandem with your abilities," she explained as they boarded. "It's not fully tested, but it's our best chance of reaching the siege ship quickly." As the launch bay doors opened, revealing the chaotic sky above, Wayne took the controls. He felt an immediate connection with the ship, as if it were an extension of his own body. With a thought, the engines roared to life, and they shot into the atmosphere. The ascent was rapid, the ship responding to Wayne's mental commands with incredible precision. Iris and Aurora worked in perfect synchronization, using their abilities to create a protective energy field around the craft as they pierced through the upper atmosphere. As they broke free of Earth's gravity, the vastness of space opened up before them. The siege ship loomed ahead, its massive form dwarfing their small craft. Surrounding it was a perimeter of human and Talarian vessels, maintaining a cautious distance. Admiral Cora's voice came through their communication system. "Hybrid team, we're detecting unusual energy signatures from the siege ship. Approach with caution." As they neared the massive vessel, Aurora gasped. "I can feel it," she said, her eyes wide with wonder. "It's alive somehow, and it's trying to communicate." Wayne maneuvered their craft closer, guided by Aurora's intuition. Suddenly, a beam of energy shot out from the siege ship, enveloping their small vessel. Instead of harm, however, the family felt a surge of power coursing through their hybrid bodies. "It's interfacing with us," Iris realized, her bioluminescent patterns pulsing in rhythm with the energy beam. As the connection strengthened, images and sensations flooded their minds. They saw glimpses of a vast civilization that spanned galaxies, of technology beyond their wildest dreams, and of a terrible cataclysm that forced this ancient race to scatter their seeds across the cosmos. Then, as suddenly as it began, the energy beam retracted. The siege ship's massive hull began to shift and transform, revealing an entrance large enough for their craft to enter. Wayne looked at his family, seeing the same mixture of trepidation and excitement in their eyes that he felt. "This is it," he said, guiding their ship towards the opening. "Whatever happens next, we face it together." As they crossed the threshold into the siege ship, they knew they were stepping into a new chapter not just for themselves, but for all of humanity and the Talarians. The mysteries of their shared past and the promise of their future awaited within the depths of this ancient vessel. Their craft settled gently in a vast docking bay, the interior of the siege ship a marvel of organic technology that seemed to pulse with life. As the family prepared to disembark, they realized that this was only the beginning of a journey that would take them far beyond the confines of their solar system and challenge everything they thought they knew about their place in the universe and their own hybrid nature. As they stepped out of their craft, the organic technology of the siege ship pulsed with an otherworldly energy. Wayne, Iris, and Aurora felt a deep resonance within their evolved bodies, as if they were connecting to something ancient and familiar. "This is incredible," Iris breathed, her bioluminescent patterns flickering in response to the ship's energy. Before they could explore further, a holographic projection materialized before them. It displayed a three-dimensional map of the solar system, with Earth and Mars highlighted. Pulsing red markers indicated areas of geological instability on both planets. Wayne's expression hardened as he studied the projection. "We need to split up," he said, his voice filled with urgency. "Mars is in critical condition. Iris and I should return immediately to stabilize the planet's core." Aurora nodded, her crystalline skin refracting the light from the hologram. "I'll stay here and continue communicating with the ship. We need to understand what's happening and why." Dr. Vasquez's voice crackled through their communication system. "The Nexus is ready for immediate departure. We've equipped it with a hybrid drive based on the energy signatures we've detected from your bodies." Wayne and Iris shared a look of persistence. With a quick embrace, they bid farewell to Aurora and hurried back to their craft. As they boarded the Nexus, they felt an immediate connection to the ship's systems, their hybrid physiology interfacing seamlessly with the new technology. The Nexus detached from the main fleet, its hybrid drive humming with power. As they accelerated towards Mars, Wayne and Iris focused on refining their abilities. They discovered that by merging their energy fields, they could amplify their powers exponentially. "This is extraordinary." Dr. Vasquez's voice came through the ship speakers. Your bodies are adapting to the new energy patterns at an unprecedented rate. We may be able to use this to stabilize Mars's core. As they approached the red planet, the severity of the situation became clear. Massive fissures crisscrossed the surface, and seismic activity threatened to tear apart the fledgling colonies. Admiral Cora's face appeared on a view screen. We're evacuating as many colonists as possible to orbital stations and underground shelters. But we're running out of time. Wayne and Iris donned their specialized suits, which hummed with energy as they interfaced with their hybrid physiology. They exited the Nexus, surrounded by a shimmering energy field of their own creation. As they descended towards the areas of greatest instability, they began channeling the terraforming energies deep into the Martian core. The process was grueling. Wayne and Iris felt their bodies changing, adapting to the immense energies they were manipulating. Their skin took on a rock-like texture, veins of molten energy pulsing beneath the surface. Despite the pain of their transformation, they pressed on, gradually bringing balance to the planet's geological systems. Meanwhile, aboard the seed ship, Aurora led a team of human and Tellurian scientists deeper into the vessel. They encountered rows of stasis pods, each containing a hibernating hybrid being. Aurora's unique abilities allowed her to interface with the ship's systems, initiating the revival process for 3 of the ancient hybrids. As the beings awakened, Aurora established a mental link with them. Images and information flooded her mind. The history of their civilization, the reason for the separation of humans and Tellurians, and a crucial piece of information, a fail-safe system built into both Earth and Mars. The instability, Aurora gasped, her eyes wide with realization. It's not just a natural reaction to the terraforming. It's a deliberate fail-safe to prevent premature reunification of our species. She quickly relayed this information to Wayne and Iris on Mars, and to General Hawk on Earth. There are control nodes hidden deep within both planets, she explained. We need to deactivate them simultaneously to truly stabilize Mars and prevent further geological chaos on Earth. On Mars, Wayne and Iris received Aurora's message as they continued their efforts to hold the planet together. Their evolved senses detected faint energy signatures beneath the surface, leading them towards Olympus Mons. We've located the Martian control node, Wayne reported, his voice strained from the ongoing transformation of his body. It's hidden deep within the volcano. As they prepared to enter the ancient facility, Wayne and Iris knew they were on the brink of uncovering the final mysteries left behind by their hybrid ancestors. The fate of both planets hung in the balance, and the true test of their evolved abilities was about to begin. The true test of their evolved abilities was about to unfold within the heart of Olympus Mons. As Wayne and Iris approached the entrance to the Martian control node facility, the rocky surface beneath their feet seemed to shift and pulse. Their hybrid bodies, now more attuned to the planet's energy, detected subtle vibrations guiding them forward. It's like the mountain itself is showing us the way, Iris whispered, her voice filled with awe. They reached a seemingly solid rock face, but as they drew near, a previously invisible doorway shimmered into existence. Wayne placed his hand on the surface, and it rippled like water, granting them entry. Inside, they faced a series of ancient security measures. Beams of energy crisscrossed the corridor, forming an intricate web. Wayne and Iris exchanged a glance, their bodies instinctively knowing what to do. They moved in perfect synchronization, their hybrid physiology allowing them to pass through the energy barriers unharmed. As they progressed deeper into the facility, biometric scanners lined the walls. The devices hummed to life, bathing the couple in a soft blue light. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a series of clicks and whirs, the scanners recognized their hybrid DNA, and another set of doors slid open. At the heart of the complex, Wayne and Iris found themselves in a vast chamber. At its center stood a massive crystalline structure, pulsing with an otherworldly energy. The crystal surface rippled and shifted, mirroring the geological instability of the planet outside. "This must be the control node," Wayne said, his voice filled with a mixture of awe and urgency. As they approached the crystal, their bodies began to change once more. Their skin took on the texture of Martian bedrock, rough and reddish-brown. Veins of glowing energy pulsed beneath the surface, matching the rhythm of the crystal before them. Iris reached out, her transformed hand making contact with the crystal's surface. The moment she touched it, a surge of information flooded her mind. "Wayne," she gasped, "I can see it all. The fail-safe system, the reason for the separation of our species. It's all here." Wayne joined her, placing his hand alongside hers. Together, they began to decipher the complex operations of the control node. As they worked, they could feel the immense strain on their bodies. The energy flowing through them was almost overwhelming, pushing their hybrid physiology to its limits. Meanwhile, on Earth, Dr. Elena Vasquez and her team had pinpointed the location of the planet's control node. General Hawk's voice crackled over the communication system. "We've mobilized a drilling team to the Siberian site. They're using hybrid-enhanced technology to expedite the excavation." Back on the siege ship, Aurora continued her mental link with the revived ancient hybrids. Images and information cascaded through her mind, revealing the final piece of the puzzle. "The genetic key," she murmured, her eyes wide with realization. "It's encoded in our DNA. We're the key to reunifying our species." As this revelation dawned on her, Aurora became aware of a shift in the siege ship's energy. Alarms began to blare, and the ancient hybrid's expressions turned grave. "The ship's failsafe has been triggered," one of them explained. "It's preparing to leave the solar system." Aurora knew she had to act fast. Using her enhanced abilities, she created a temporary energy conduit between the siege ship and Earth. "I have to go," she told the ancient hybrids. "Our family needs to be united to complete this process." With a final look at the wealth of knowledge she was leaving behind, Aurora initiated her energy transfer to Earth. Her body dematerialized, becoming pure energy as it streaked towards the Siberian control node site. On Mars, Wayne and Iris had successfully interfaced with the control node. They could feel the planet's core beginning to stabilize, but they also sensed that their efforts alone weren't enough. "We need Aurora," Wayne said through gritted teeth, the strain evident in his voice. "The process won't be complete without all three of us." As if in response to his words, their communication system crackled to life. "This is the Siberian team," a voice announced. "We've breached the control node chamber. It's identical to the one on Mars, but completely dormant." Moments later, a burst of energy illuminated the Siberian site. Aurora materialized, her body adapting instantly to the harsh cold. Her skin took on a reflective, ice-like quality, shimmering in the dim light of the underground chamber. Without hesitation, Aurora approached the Earth's control node. As her transformed hands made contact with the crystal surface, the dormant system sprang to life. "Wayne, Iris," Aurora called out, establishing a mental link with her family. "Are you ready?" On Mars, the couple braced themselves. "Ready," they responded in unison. In perfect synchronization, the three hybrids fully engaged with the control nodes on both planets. Energy surged through their bodies, pushing them beyond anything they had experienced before. Their hybrid DNA activated fully, unlocking the genetic key required for species reunification. As the process intensified, Wayne, Iris, and Aurora felt their bodies beginning to destabilize at a cellular level. The energy coursing through them was too much, threatening to tear them apart. Alarms blared in both control node facilities. On Earth, Dr. Vasquez's voice came through, filled with concern. "Your cellular structure is breaking down. If you continue, we don't know if we can bring you back." Despite the warning, the hybrid family pressed on. They could feel the planets coming into balance, the ancient terraforming network awakening throughout the solar system. But with each passing moment, their grip on existence grew weaker. As Wayne, Iris, and Aurora teetered on the brink of oblivion, they faced an impossible choice: complete the reunification process at the cost of their own lives, or abort and leave both planets in a precarious state of imbalance. The fate of two worlds hung in the balance, with the hybrid family at the center of it all. As their consciousness began to fade, they clung to their connection, determined to see the process through to its end, whatever that end might be. As their consciousness began to fade, they clung to their connection, determined to see the process through to its end, whatever that end might be. Suddenly, alarms blared through both control node facilities. Dr. Elena Vasquez's voice cut through the chaos, her tone urgent and focused. Initiating emergency extraction protocol. Stabilization chambers are prepped and ready. General Hawk's voice followed, firm and resolute. Abort the reunification process. I repeat, abort the process. Priority is preserving the lives of Wayne, Iris, and Aurora. On Mars, a team of hybrid-compatible technicians burst into the control node chamber. They moved with practiced efficiency, carefully disconnecting Wayne and Iris from the pulsing crystal structure. As the connection severed, the couple's bodies went limp, their skin still bearing the texture of Martian bedrock. Vitals are critical but stable, one technician reported, securing Wayne to a hovering stretcher. We need to move fast. In Siberia, a similar scene unfolded. Aurora's ice-like form was gently removed from the Earth's control node, her body immediately enveloped in a cocoon of energy designed to maintain her cellular integrity. As the hybrid family was extracted, both planets shuddered. On Mars, the ground beneath Olympus Mons trembled, sending cascades of dust and rock tumbling down its slopes. Earth's atmosphere churned, spawning sudden storms across multiple continents. Wayne and Iris were rushed through the winding corridors of the Martian facility, their stretchers gliding silently over the rough terrain. They reached a newly constructed medical bay, its walls lined with pulsing hybrid technology. At the center stood three large, cylindrical chambers filled with a shimmering opalescent fluid. Stabilization chambers ready, a Talarian doctor announced, her forearms working in perfect synchronization to calibrate the machines. Commencing immersion. As Wayne and Iris were lowered into separate chambers, the fluid enveloped them, immediately beginning the process of cellular regeneration. Their transformed skins slowly began to soften, the veins of energy pulsing beneath the surface growing fainter. On Earth, Aurora was transported deep beneath the Siberian tundra. The underground complex hummed with energy as she was placed in her own stabilization chamber. The moment she was submerged, her ice-like skin began to thaw, returning to its normal hue. Dr. Vasquez, monitoring the process from a central command center, let out a sigh of relief. They're stabilizing. It's going to be touch and go, but I think we got to them in time. As the hybrid family fought for survival within their chambers, the consequences of their interrupted mission rippled across the solar system. The seed ship, previously heading away from Earth, suddenly altered its course. Its massive form turned, orienting itself towards the inner planets. Admiral Cora's face appeared on screens in both the Martian and Earth facilities. The seed ship has changed trajectory. It's heading directly for Mars. General Hawk's response was immediate. Prepare our defense fleets. We don't know if this is a rescue mission or an attack. Wait, Cora interrupted, her expression thoughtful. The ancient hybrids aboard that ship might be our best chance at understanding what's happening. We should attempt communication before taking any aggressive action. As military leaders debated their next move, scientists on both planets noticed an unusual phenomenon. The atmosphere of Earth and Mars began to shimmer with a faint, iridescent energy, a lingering effect of the partial reunification process. Dr. Vasquez, analyzing the data, made a startling discovery. The energy signature left by Wayne, Iris, and Aurora. It's continuing to align the environments of both planets. It's subtle, but it's definitely happening. Days passed, marked by tense waiting and constant monitoring. The stabilization chambers hummed ceaselessly, working to repair the cellular damage inflicted by the control nodes. Wayne, Iris, and Aurora remained unconscious, their vital signs slowly improving. Then, on the fifth day, something extraordinary happened. Crystalline structures began to emerge from the ground at various points across Earth and Mars. They grew rapidly, reaching towards the sky like alien trees. These formations appeared most prominently in areas with high concentrations of human-Talarian hybrids. The crystals, a Talarian scientist observed, her voice filled with awe. They're amplifying the residual reunification energy. It's as if they're trying to complete the process on their own. As scientists scrambled to understand this new development, movement was detected within the stabilization chambers. Wayne's fingers twitched, Iris's eyelids fluttered, and Aurora's breathing deepened. They were waking up. At that moment, alarms blared throughout the Martian facility. Admiral Cora's voice came through, tense but controlled. The siege ship has entered Mars orbit. They're hailing us. The ancient hybrids were making contact, their arrival coinciding with the awakening of Wayne, Iris, and Aurora. As the families stirred in their chambers, the fate of two worlds hung in the balance, poised on the brink of a new era of understanding or conflict. The facility buzzed with activity as medical teams prepared to extract the hybrid family from their stabilization chambers. Meanwhile, on the bridge of the Martian Defense Station, Admiral Cora faced a view screen, ready to make first contact with the beings who could hold the key to their shared future. The tension was palpable as Admiral Cora accepted the incoming transmission. The view screen flickered to life, revealing the face of an ancient hybrid. Its features were a perfect blend of human and Talarian characteristics, exuding an aura of wisdom and power. "Greetings, children of Earth and Mars." The being spoke, its voice resonating with a depth that seemed to span millennia. "We are the guardians, custodians of the reunification process. We come in peace, seeking to assist in the completion of our shared destiny." Admiral Cora exchanged a glance with General Hawk, who had joined her on the bridge via holographic projection. After a moment of silent communication, Hawk nodded. "We welcome your assistance," Cora replied, her voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. Permission granted to land near the Martian control node facility. As the siege ship began its descent, activity in the medical bay reached a fever pitch. Wayne's eyes fluttered open, his gaze unfocused as he tried to make sense of his surroundings. In the adjacent chamber, Iris gasped, her body convulsing as she regained consciousness. On Earth, Aurora's fingers twitched, sending ripples through the opalescent fluid surrounding her. Dr. Vasquez's voice crackled over the intercom. "They're waking up. Prepare for extraction." The medical teams worked with practiced efficiency, carefully draining the stabilization chambers and helping the hybrid family emerge. As Wayne's feet touched the ground, he felt a surge of energy coursing through his body. Iris stumbled, caught by a Talarian nurse, her skin shimmering with residual energy. What happened?" Wayne asked, his voice hoarse from disuse. Before anyone could answer, alarms blared throughout the facility. Dr. Vasquez's face appeared on a nearby screen, her expression a mix of excitement and concern. "The crystalline structures," she exclaimed. "They're growing at an exponential rate, and they seem to be responding to the hybrid population centers." Outside, the Martian landscape was transforming. Crystal spires erupted from the red soil, reaching towards the sky like alien trees. Similar reports flooded in from Earth, describing massive crystalline formations emerging across the globe. As Wayne and Iris were briefed on the situation, Aurora was being extracted from her chamber in Siberia. The moment her feet touched the ground, she felt a powerful connection to the crystalline structures surrounding the facility. "They're conduits," she whispered, her eyes widening with realization. "The crystals are channeling the reunification energy." Back on Mars, the siege ship touched down, its massive form casting a shadow over the gathered welcoming party. As the ship's hatch opened, a group of ancient hybrids emerged, their appearance both familiar and alien. The leader of the Guardians stepped forward, addressing the assembled humans and Talarians. "We have watched and waited for countless generations, guiding the process of reunification from afar. Now, as we enter the final stages, we offer our direct assistance." As the Guardians explained their role and the purpose of the reunification, Wayne, Iris, and Aurora experienced a simultaneous surge in their hybrid abilities. The nearby crystalline structures pulsed with energy, responding to their enhanced connection. Dr. Vasquez, observing the phenomenon, quickly formulated a plan. "We need to use them as conduits," she explained to General Hawk and Admiral Cora. "If we can channel the reunification energy through Wayne, Iris, and Aurora, we might be able to accelerate the process without putting them at risk." The plan was set into motion with urgency. On Mars, Wayne and Iris were carefully transported to a massive crystal cluster near Olympus Mons. Earth's team moved Aurora to a similar formation in Siberia. As the hybrid family was connected to the crystals, the Guardians worked alongside human and Talarian scientists to address a new crisis. The gravitational changes triggered by the ancient outposts were causing havoc across the solar system. "We must stabilize both planets," one of the Guardians announced. "Our siege ship can generate a protective field to mitigate the gravitational disturbances. This will give us the time we need to complete the reunification." As the siege ship maneuvered into position, Wayne, Iris, and Aurora made contact with their respective crystal clusters. The moment of connection sent a visible shockwave of energy through the entire network spanning both planets. Wayne gasped as he felt the power flow through him. "I can see it all," he murmured, his eyes glowing with an inner light. "The patterns, the connections. It's beautiful." Iris nodded, her hands intertwined with the crystalline structure. "We can guide it," she said, her voice filled with wonder. "We can shape the energy, direct it where it needs to go." On Earth, Aurora closed her eyes, focusing intently on the energy coursing through her body. "It's working," she whispered, a smile playing on her lips. "I can feel the changes beginning." As the hybrid family channeled the reunification energies, the effects became immediately apparent. Mars's atmosphere began to thicken, clouds forming for the first time in millions of years. On Earth, violent storms calmed, and erratic weather patterns started to stabilize. The crystalline structures continued to grow and reshape themselves, forming intricate patterns that mirrored the ongoing environmental changes. Wayne, Iris, and Aurora felt their bodies adapting, developing a symbiotic relationship with the crystals that allowed them to safely manage the immense energy flow. As the process continued, the Guardians monitored closely, ready to intervene if necessary. General Hawk and Admiral Cora coordinated global efforts to adapt to the rapidly changing conditions on both planets. The hybrid family remained deep in concentration, guiding the reunification energies with unwavering focus. The crystals pulsed with power, their network expanding across the surfaces of Earth and Mars. As the planet's environments continued to align, the next phase of human-Talarian reunification loomed on the horizon, bringing with it the promise of new challenges and uncharted possibilities. As Wayne, Iris, and Aurora maintained their deep connection with the crystalline network, the reunification process accelerated beyond anyone's expectations. The effects rippled across both planets with breathtaking speed. On Mars, vast oceans began to form as underground ice reserves melted, transforming the red planet's landscape. Olympus Mons, once a barren volcanic peak, now overlooked a shimmering sea. Wayne and Iris, still linked to the crystal cluster near the mountain, felt the changes coursing through their bodies. "It's happening so fast," Iris gasped, her eyes wide with wonder. "I can feel the water flowing beneath the surface." Wayne nodded, his attention split between the planetary changes and the strange sensations in his own body. "Something's different," he said, looking down at his hands. Tiny crystalline formations had begun to sprout from his skin, glittering in the Martian sunlight. Meanwhile, on Earth, Aurora witnessed similar transformations. The Siberian tundra around her burst into life as the climate shifted. Previously arid regions experienced sudden rainfalls, and new vegetation sprouted at an impossible rate. "Dr. Vasquez," Aurora called out, her voice tinged with a mix of excitement and concern. "The changes are accelerating, and there's something happening to my body." Dr. Elena Vasquez rushed to Aurora's side, her eyes widening as she saw the crystalline growths forming on the hybrid skin. "Incredible," she breathed, reaching for her scanner. "Your body is adapting to channel more energy. We need to monitor this closely." As the hybrid family's transformation progressed, their control over the reunification energies grew more precise. They could now manipulate the planetary environments with unprecedented accuracy, guiding the formation of new landmasses and weather patterns. However, this increased power came at a cost. The protective energy field generated by the siege ship began to fluctuate wildly, struggling to contain the intensifying gravitational disturbances. Aboard the ship, the leader of the Guardians frowned at the readings. "Initiate emergency protocol Sigma 9, he commanded. "We must stabilize the field before it collapses." The ancient hybrids sprang into action, their movements fluid and purposeful as they worked to reinforce the protective barrier. Outside, the sky above Mars shimmered with visible energy waves as the field fluctuated. General Hawk's voice crackled over the communication system. "Guardian Prime, we're detecting anomalies beyond Mars and Earth. The crystalline network is expanding towards Venus and Mercury." Indeed, cosmic filaments of crystal energy stretched out from both planets, reaching towards their inner solar system neighbors. The delicate dance of planetary orbits began to shift, threatening the stability of the entire system. "Admiral Cora," Hawk continued, his voice tense, "we need to form joint teams to investigate these orbital shifts, if we can't counteract them." "Understood, General," Cora replied. "I'm dispatching our best astrophysicists and engineers. We'll rendezvous at the Daima station." As the military leaders coordinated their efforts, Dr. Vasquez made a startling discovery on Earth. The rapid environmental changes had sparked the emergence of new ecosystems, perfectly suited for hybrid life. In the revitalized Sahara, now a lush savanna, strange new plants took root. Their leaves shimmered with an opalescent sheen, reminiscent of Tellurian flora. Nearby, a creature that looked like a cross between a gazelle and a Martian sandrunner bounded across the plain. "Fascinating," Dr. Vasquez murmured, carefully taking samples. These new species seemed to be a perfect blend of Earth and Mars life forms. But how is this possible? Her pondering was interrupted by an urgent message from Wayne and Iris on Mars. Their voices came through filled with static, but their excitement was palpable. "Elena, you won't believe what we've found," Iris said. "There's an entire city hidden beneath Olympus Mons. It's ancient, predating even the Guardians, we think." Wayne's voice chimed in. "The technology here is incredible. We've managed to activate some of the systems. They seem designed to aid in planetary transformation. This could be the key to stabilizing the reunification process." As Wayne and Iris explored the underground city, Aurora's connection to the crystalline network on Earth revealed a hidden danger. Her eyes snapped open, glowing with energy. "General Hawk," she called out urgently, "we have a problem." I've detected a group of extremists, humans and Talarians working together. They're trying to sabotage the reunification process. Hawk's response was immediate. Send me everything you've got, Aurora. We'll root out these separatists before they can do any damage. As the situation grew more complex, the Guardians made a crucial decision. More of their kind began to emerge from stasis chambers aboard the siege ship, their ancient eyes taking in the transformed worlds before them. Spread out, Guardian Prime instructed. Lend your knowledge and abilities wherever they are needed. The fate of both species hangs in the balance. The newly awakened Guardians dispersed across Earth and Mars, their presence bringing a sense of ancient wisdom to the rapidly evolving crisis. But even as they lent their expertise, a new threat loomed on the horizon. The siege ship's sensors detected an approaching anomaly, a dense cloud of interstellar matter on a collision course with the solar system. Rich in exotic elements, this cosmic debris threatened to undo all the progress made thus far. Guardian Prime's face was grim as he addressed General Hawk and Admiral Cora. We can create a deflection field, but it will require redirecting energy from our planetary protection efforts. The choice before us is grave indeed. As the leaders debated their options, Wayne, Iris, and Aurora found their abilities pushed to the limit. Their prolonged connection to the crystalline network was taking a heavy toll. Their bodies flickered between solid form and pure energy, the boundaries of their physical existence becoming increasingly blurred. Dr. Vasquez watched in alarm as Aurora's form shimmered and shifted. "Hold on," she urged, her fingers flying over her computer console. "We're working on a way to stabilize your condition. Just a little longer." The solar system teetered on the brink of a new era. Earth and Mars, their environments aligning, faced both promise and peril. The expanding crystalline network reached further into space, its effects yet unknown. And beyond, the approaching interstellar debris cloud threatened everything they had accomplished. At the heart of it all, Wayne, Iris, and Aurora, their bodies now more energy than matter, continued to guide the reunification process. As they channeled the immense cosmic forces, they knew that every decision, every action, would shape the future of both human and Talarian civilizations. The ancient city beneath Olympus Mons hummed with awakening power. Its secrets, ancient city systems pulsed with renewed vigor, sending ripples of energy through the crystalline network. Wayne and Iris felt the surge course through their bodies, their forms flickering between solid matter and pure energy. "We're losing cohesion," Iris gasped, her voice echoing strangely as her physical form wavered. Wayne reached out, his hand passing through hers. "Focus on the network. We can stabilize ourselves through it." As they struggled to maintain their form, a new sensation washed over them. The approaching interstellar debris cloud, once a looming threat, now felt like an extension of their own being. They could sense its composition, its trajectory, and most surprisingly, they could influence it. On Earth, Aurora experienced a similar phenomenon. Her body shimmered, particles of light dancing around her as she connected with the cosmic material hurtling towards the solar system. Dr. Vasquez watched in awe as Aurora's form shifted and pulsed. "Incredible," she breathed, furiously typing notes into her tablet. "Aurora, can you describe what you're feeling?" It's like I can reach out and touch the debris cloud," Aurora replied, her voice resonating with an otherworldly timbre. I think we can control it." Dr. Vasquez's eyes widened. She tapped her communicator, connecting with General Hawk and Admiral Cora. "We have a potential game-changer here. The hybrid family seems to have developed an ability to manipulate the approaching debris cloud." Hawk's voice crackled through the speaker. "Can we use this to our advantage?" "I believe so," Dr. Vasquez replied. "If we can guide the cloud into a stable orbit around the sun, it could serve as a protective barrier against future cosmic threats." There was a moment of silence as the leaders considered the implications. Finally, Admiral Cora spoke. "It's risky, but it might be our best option. Give the go-ahead, Dr. Vasquez." As the hybrid family focused their newfound abilities on the debris cloud, their bodies underwent another startling transformation. Particles of the cosmic material began to integrate with their energy forms, granting them even greater control over the physical realm. Wayne marveled at the sensation. "I can feel the very fabric of space bending to our will," he said, his voice filled with wonder and a hint of trepidation. Iris nodded, her form now a swirling vortex of energy and cosmic particles. "It's overwhelming, but we can do this. We have to." Together, the three hybrids exerted their influence on the debris cloud, gently altering its trajectory. The massive collection of interstellar matter responded to their touch, its cores bending ever so slightly towards a stable orbit around the sun. As they worked, alarms blared across both planets. General Hawk's voice cut through the chaos. "We've got multiple attacks on key facilities. The extremists are making their move." Coordinated strikes hit crystalline structures on Earth and Mars simultaneously. Explosions rocked the newly formed Martian oceans, sending towering waves crashing against the emerging coastlines. On Earth, crystalline spires shattered under the onslaught, their fragments raining down on the transformed landscapes below. Admiral Cora's voice joined the cacophony. "All security forces, mobilize immediately. Protect the crystalline network at all costs." As human and Talarian defenders rushed to repel the attackers, the Guardians sprang into action. They moved with fluid grace, their ancient knowledge allowing them to reinforce the weakened sections of the crystalline network. Guardian Prime stood atop a gleaming spire, his hands outstretched as he channeled energy into the surrounding structures. "Hold the line," he commanded, his voice carrying to his brethren across both worlds. "We cannot allow the reunification to fail." Beneath Olympus Mons, the ancient city continued its ascent. Massive structures broke through the Martian surface, their alien architecture a stark contrast to the human and Talarian settlements nearby. The sudden emergence sent shockwaves across the planet, accelerating the already rapid terraforming process. Oceans swelled, filling newly formed basins. The atmosphere thickened to Earth-like density in a matter of hours, forcing Martian colonists to quickly adapt their habitats and technology. On Earth, the changes were equally dramatic. The global crystalline network reached critical mass, reshaping the planet's geography on a massive scale. Continents shifted, mountain ranges rose and fell, and new islands burst from the depths of the oceans. Dr. Vasquez worked feverishly to maintain the stability of the hybrid family's energy forms. Her team developed new technologies on the fly, struggling to keep pace with the rapidly evolving situation. "We're losing them," one of her assistants cried out as Wayne, Iris, and Aurora's forms flickered dangerously. "No, we're not," Dr. Vasquez snapped, her fingers flying over her console. "Increase power to the quantum stabilizers. We need to give them an anchor point in our reality." As the hybrid family strained to guide the debris cloud into orbit, the solar system trembled on the brink of a new era. The interstellar matter began to coalesce, forming a ring of small planetoids around the sun. These newly birthed celestial bodies glimmered with exotic elements, their potential yet to be fully realized. General Hawk and Admiral Cora, their attention split between the ongoing attacks and the cosmic transformation, exchanged a loaded glance. "Those planetoids," Hawk began. Cora nodded, understanding immediately. "A new frontier. We'll need to explore and colonize them quickly." "Agreed," Hawk replied. "I'll assemble a joint task force. We'll need our best scientists and engineers for this." As the leaders set their plans in motion, Wayne, Iris, and Aurora reached the limits of their endurance. The strain of manipulating the debris cloud and maintaining the crystalline network pushed their hybrid physiology to the breaking point. "We can't hold on much longer," Aurora gasped, her form a chaotic swirl of energy and matter. Wayne's voice, now more of a cosmic whisper than human speech, reached out to her. We have to. Everything depends on us. Iris, her consciousness spread across both planets, focused her remaining strength on stabilizing their shared connection. Together, she urged, we can do this together. As the hybrid family fought to maintain control, the solar system continued its rapid transformation. Earth and Mars, their environments now inextricably linked, pulsed with new life and possibilities. The newly formed planetoid ring beckoned, a tantalizing promise of resources and expansion. Yet amidst the wonder and potential, threats still lurked. The extremists, though beaten back, had not been defeated entirely. Their shadow loomed over the reunification process, a persistent danger to the fragile balance of this new era. Wayne, Iris, and Aurora, their existence now woven into the very fabric of the transformed worlds, faced an uncertain future. As they struggled to maintain equilibrium in an increasingly complex and volatile situation, the fate of both human and Tellurian civilizations hung in the balance. The cosmic dance continued, its final movements yet to be written. Choreographed, as the cosmic energies surged through Wayne, Iris, and Aurora, their forms flickered between matter and energy, teetering on the edge of existence. Dr. Vasquez and her team worked feverishly, their fingers flying over consoles as they fought to stabilize the hybrid family's rapidly evolving physiology. "We've got it," Dr. Vasquez exclaimed, her eyes bright with triumph. Initiating quantum stabilization field. Now, a shimmering sphere of energy enveloped Wayne, Iris, and Aurora. Their forms solidified, no longer wavering between states. Wayne flexed his fingers, marveling at the sensation of solidity. "It worked," he breathed, his voice a mixture of relief and wonder. Iris reached out, her hand passing through the energy field to intertwine with Wayne's. "We can control it now," she said, her eyes wide with realization. "We can shift between forms at will." Aurora's form shimmered, briefly becoming pure energy before solidifying again. "This changes everything," she said, her voice resonating with newfound power. As the hybrid family explored their new abilities, alarms blared across the command center. General Hawk's voice crackled over the intercom, urgent and tense. "We've got multiple bogies incoming. The extremists are making another push, targeting the exposed city on Mars." Wayne and Iris exchanged a determined look. "We'll handle this," Wayne said, his form already beginning to shimmer with energy. In a flash, they were gone, reappearing moments later amidst the chaos of the Martian cityscape. The ancient structures, now fully exposed on the surface, loomed around them, their alien architecture a stark contrast to the ruddy Martian landscape. Explosions rocked the city as extremist forces launched their assault. Wayne and Iris moved in perfect synchronization, their hybrid forms allowing them to phase through solid matter and unleash bursts of energy at will. "They're after the city's core systems," Iris called out, deflecting a barrage of energy weapons with a wave of her hand. "We can't let them gain control." Wayne nodded, his body becoming a streak of light as he raced through the city's winding corridors. He materialized in front of a group of extremists attempting to breach a massive door adorned with intricate symbols. "This ends now," he said, his voice eerily calm as he raised his hands, tendrils of energy crackling between his fingers. The extremists opened fire, their weapons useless against Wayne's hybrid form. With a thought, he unleashed a wave of energy that sent them flying backward, their bodies crumpling against the ancient walls. As Wayne and Iris led the defense on Mars, Aurora focused her attention on Earth. The planet's surface was in flux, continents shifting and reforming at an alarming rate. Aurora stretched out her consciousness, connecting with the global crystalline network. She felt the planet's pain, the stress of rapid transformation threatening to tear it apart. With gentle touches of her mind, Aurora guided the formation of new landmasses, easing the pressure on fault lines and redirecting the flow of magma beneath the crust. Cities trembled on the brink of destruction, only to find themselves nestled safely on newly formed plateaus. Coastlines reshaped themselves, sparing millions from devastating tsunamis. Aurora's actions saved countless lives, but the strain of her efforts was immense. As she worked, Aurora became aware of a group of scientists watching her with a mixture of awe and fear. Their whispered conversations reached her enhanced senses. The power they wield. It's too much for any individuals to control. We need safeguards, limits on their abilities. Aurora filed away their concerns, focusing on the task at hand. The debate over the hybrid family's role in this new world would have to wait. In space, the joint human-Talarian expedition to the planetoid ring made a startling discovery. Hidden among the newly formed celestial bodies was a massive space station, its design clearly of the same origin as the ancient Martian city. Captain Elena Rodriguez of the expedition ship Unity approached the station cautiously. "All teams, stand by for docking procedure," she announced, her voice steady despite the tension evident in her posture. As the Unity's airlock sealed against the station's hull, a surge of energy pulsed through the structure. Lights flickered to life, and a low hum filled the air. "Captain, we're detecting a massive power spike," the science officer reported, his eyes wide as he stared at his readouts. "Some kind of beacon has just activated." Before Captain Rodriguez could respond, a blinding beam of energy erupted from the station, shooting off into the depths of space. The Unity rocked from the sudden release of power, its crew scrambling to maintain their footing. On Mars, Wayne and Iris felt the activation of the beacon like a physical blow. They stumbled, momentarily disoriented, as new information flooded their hybrid senses. "Did you feel that?" Iris gasped, steadying herself against a crystal pillar. Wayne nodded, his expression grim. "Something's coming. Something big." As if in response to their realization, a group of guardians materialized before them, their ancient faces etched with concern. "The beacon calls to those who left long ago," Guardian Prime intoned, his voice resonating with the weight of millennia. "The ancestors return, and not all will welcome the changes we have wrought." In the command center on Earth, General Hawk and Admiral Cora received the reports from Mars and the planetoid ring with growing concern. "We need to prepare for any eventuality," Hawk said, his teeth clenched in drive. "Initiate Project Unity immediately." Cora nodded in agreement. "I'll coordinate with our best scientists and engineers. We'll need to work fast if we're going to be ready for whatever's coming our way." As alarms sounded and personnel rushed to their stations, Wayne, Iris, and Aurora found themselves at the center of a cosmic storm. Their hybrid abilities had evolved beyond anything they could have imagined, but the challenges they faced were equally immense. The extremists, though beaten back, were regrouping for another assault. The solar system itself was in flux, with Mars rapidly transforming and Earth's geography reshaping itself by the hour. And now, with the activation of the ancient beacon, a new threat loomed on the horizon. As Wayne and Iris raced back to Earth to join Aurora, their minds linked across the vast distances of space. They shared a single thought. The real test of their newfound powers was just beginning. The cosmic energies pulsing through their hybrid forms stabilized, allowing Wayne, Iris, and Aurora to fully embrace their new abilities. As they prepared to face the impending arrival of the ancestors, they felt a profound shift in their very essence. Wayne flexed his fingers, watching as they seamlessly transitioned from solid matter to pure energy and back again. "We've become something entirely new," he said, his voice resonating with newfound power. Iris nodded, her form shimmering with a blend of human, Talarian, and crystalline attributes. "We're the bridge between all our peoples now." It's up to us to ensure this reunion leads to peace, not conflict. Aurora, her consciousness still linked to the global crystalline network, sensed the approaching vessels. "They're entering the solar system," she announced, her eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. "It's time." The hybrid family chose a newly formed planetoid in the ring as the site for their pivotal meeting. Using their combined abilities, they rapidly terraformed its surface, creating a neutral ground that could accommodate all parties. The landscape they crafted was a testament to their vision of unity, lush vegetation interwoven with crystalline structures, all pulsing with life and energy. As the ancestors' ships descended through the planetoid's atmosphere, Wayne, Iris, and Aurora stood at the center of a grand plaza, their forms a perfect blend of all their genetic heritage. The air crackled with anticipation as the vessels touched down, their designs as varied as the beings that emerged from them. Some of the ancestors appeared almost elemental, their bodies composed of swirling energy or shifting plasma. Others were biomechanical marvels, seamlessly blending organic tissue with advanced technology. The diversity of their evolutionary paths was staggering, a living testament to the potential that lay within their shared genetic code. Wayne stepped forward, his hybrid form allowing him to project his thoughts directly to all present. "Welcome, honored ancestors," he began, his mental voice resonating with warmth and respect. "We stand before you as living proof of the power of unity and the boundless potential of our combined heritage." Iris joined him, her thoughts intertwining with his. "We've discovered the true purpose of our separation, not to divide us, but to allow us to grow and evolve independently before coming together stronger than ever." The ancestors' initial skepticism was palpable, their energy forms flickering with uncertainty. A being composed of swirling starlight addressed them, its voice a symphony of cosmic frequencies. "You claim to have achieved what we long thought impossible. Show us the proof of your success." Aurora responded by projecting a three-dimensional image of Earth and Mars, showcasing the thriving hybrid civilization that had taken root on both planets. The crystalline networks pulsed with life, seamlessly integrated with the natural environments and the bustling cities that dotted the planet's surfaces. Wayne and Iris then revealed the full genetic history discovered in the Martian city, their hybrid minds effortlessly interfacing with the ancient data systems. They showed how the separation of humans and Tellarians was always meant to be temporary, a grand experiment in parallel evolution with reunification as its ultimate goal. As the evidence mounted, the ancestors' doubts began to fade. Their energy signatures shifted, radiating growing acceptance and even excitement. The turning point came when a group of hybrid children from Earth and Mars were transported to the planetoid, their laughter echoing across the plaza as they played, their forms shifting effortlessly between states of matter. The leader of the elemental ancestors, a being of pure light, approached Wayne and Iris. "We have witnessed the fulfillment of our ancestors' vision," it said, its voice filled with awe. "Your union has given birth to a new era of possibility." Just as the negotiations were reaching a positive conclusion, Aurora's form tensed. Her eyes widened as she processed information from the crystalline network. "We have a situation," she announced, her voice urgent. "The extremists are launching a coordinated attack on Earth and Mars." Wayne's expression hardened. "We need to act fast. The fate of our unified civilization hangs in the balance." Iris turned to the ancestors, her eyes pleading. "Will you stand with us in defending what we built together?" The biomechanical leader stepped forward, its voice a harmonious blend of organic and synthetic tones. "Your fight is our fight now. Let us show you what our combined technologies can achieve." As Wayne and Iris prepared to coordinate the defense of Earth and Mars, Aurora's consciousness expanded, reaching out to embrace the entire solar system. The battle for the future of their hybrid civilization was about to begin, with the eyes of their newly returned ancestors upon them.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, Please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.